Everybody, Sunday evening, 7 o'clock, time for some Sunday night live chat. Got a good group of us on YouTube already, it looks like. Looks like we are connected on Facebook. As always, we are on both formats, Facebook and YouTube. I will be keeping an eye on comments on both monitors as we go through tonight. Lots on Facebook already. Ryan and Amy are here with us. Doug's on. Charles is back. Norma's here. Bill Wagaman's here. You guys are all here and ready to rock and roll already, so that's actually pretty impressive. Time for some more Sunday night shenanigans, and you guys are ready to go. Looks like we are connected on Facebook. So anyway, Alan from Arizona is on. Pete's here with us. If you guys hear any background noise, I want to warn you of this right now or throw this out there. I did get a different AC unit for the office this week, and I have it on. If you guys can hear background noise and it's an issue, please let me know and I'll turn it off. It was over 90 in here last week when we got done, and that other AC unit was about shot, I think. When I turned it on, every time I turned it on, it made a ton of racket. So I went and got a new one. It's a little quieter, but it is definitely still running, and I can still hear it. If it is too much background noise or bothers any of you guys, please let me know, and I'll kick it off. Let's see. Scott's on Facebook, so we are boogieing over there. Ryan Hope drove the 47 Studebaker out of the shop. No cab, better front end, just sitting on the gas tank. Well, you're making pretty good progress already if you've already got it down that far and running and driving. Mike from Texas is on. Bill's ready for the Hudson badge. He's not messing around. Pete says no background noise. Perfect. Great. Bill says you don't hear it. Awesome. That's much better because, like I said, when it got done last week, it was like 92 in here. Yeah, it was pretty tough. When I just came in from the shop, the thermometer in the shop was showing 97. So it was going to get warm in here if that thing was making too much noise for you guys. But like I said, I don't want it to screw up the chat either. Alec is on Facebook. Dad's on Facebook. Gary's like, let's go. Let's get the Hudson badge going. Randy's here. Brian Dispatch from Canada is on with us. So great group jumping on already. As always, still amazed that you guys come back week after week for more of this stuff, but you do. And we're having a lot of fun, and that's what's important. What's coming up for tonight? Obviously, I've got, if you didn't see the teaser that I put out or the reminder that I put out, Zach's on Facebook as well. Plan on, when we get into badges, not for sale badges, just information cool badges, planning on busting out probably the most epic Auburn badge that I've got. So that's going to be coming up. That's super exciting. Jim's here. Jeff from Canada is on. You guys all look thirsty tonight. So obviously, and I've got some super cool auction stuff as usual. We've got a magazine from November of 71 that we're going to check out. And some tricky trivia as always. And looking forward to a good night. Glad you guys are all back as always. What happened this week? Phil came by, my good buddy Phil Skinner. He's been on here with us occasionally on the way to the internet. I think it was the International Edsel Owners Association meet in Omaha this weekend. There's actually two Edsel clubs. I think he said this was the International. I don't know. I get him confused. But it was great to see him. He was on the way from California to Omaha, so he swung by for a little bit the other morning, got to catch up for a few minutes, which was great. Frank's on. Eloy's here. Always good to see Phil touch base, get up to speed with what he knows and what's going on in the world of auctions and Edsels, because Phil's, like I said, he's probably the world's foremost expert in Edsels as far as I'm concerned. He's like the Google of Edsels. That's about what it amounts to. Knows those cars backward and forward, so it's always good to catch up with him. Tweedly D made it back tonight. Scott says keep the AC on too. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys can't hear it because it is much, much more comfortable in here now with the AC on. So it's going to make for a little more enjoyable evening for me, at least. I actually did haul some cars this week and hauled more than I bought. I only bought one car this week. I bought one on Monday. And actually hauled in several this weekend. So, and Dad hauled a few for me too. So, actually, net gain on hauling cars this week. Just kind of starting to wonder about that. When I'm buying as many as I'm hauling every week, I don't gain much. So, at least there was headway in that arena. Ebony Collector Auto Auction, October 1st. Started working on some of that stuff. Like I told you last week, Chris and I met, and we're getting ready to get boogieing on that. And went and looked at a big Model T collection yesterday. What did I haul, Gary? I got all that noted down. We'll get into that when we get a new inventory. I've got all that noted down. So, but good friend of mine, known for basically never not known my whole life, to the point where they've got to sell their collection, 3 Model Ts and an extensive collection of parts. And so some neat stuff there. Model T stuff, not necessarily my cup of tea, but for the guys that dig it, he's got a touring car that actually was involved in the Ford 100th anniversary in Dearborn. I actually had a course set up where Model Ts gave rides to people, and this was one of the Model Ts they used to give rides at the Ford's 100th anniversary celebration. So excited about this collection. Going to be some neat stuff. Should start getting stuff up on the website hopefully this week, feclassiccarauction.com. You'll definitely want to check that out. So Tweela D, how much is a 99 Prowler with 5,000 miles, never been in an accident? Big Guys 45s made it. The Prowler market, 5,000 miles, never been in an accident. If it's that clean of a car, it still has some decent value, but I don't see a lot of them getting crazy yet. You can still buy a lot of Prowlers around 30 grand. I've actually seen, I saw one sell at Denver a couple years ago for like 14 grand. 5,000 miles obviously is definitely going to help it, but it would, obviously, I'm assuming it's pretty good condition. That would be one of the top or higher valued cars, but those cars still have not gotten crazy yet. So, number one's here. The trivia answer is not mud daubers, but we do have a Hudson badge. So anyway, let's see. Looks like we're staying caught up here. Dennis is here with us. Glad you made it. But anyway, not an extremely exciting week. Jason made it. Glad you're here with us again tonight, Jason. Tweedledee, they're asking $47,000. I'd say that would be full boat retail. I'd probably put that car, 40, 42, something like that. So that's would be my guess without seeing it. But if it's a dealer asking $47,000, probably about where I would expect to see it priced at with those kind of miles. David W. not getting new comments. I don't know if anybody else is having issues with the comments, but everything on my end is at least I'm seeing steady comments. Let's put it that way. And I've caught most of them tonight. I don't think there's been too much that I missed tonight. So I don't know where your feed issue is, David, but hopefully I'm catching everybody. Classic Ride Society, which do you think will be worth more, the Prowler or the SSR? I'd say it's kind of a crapshoot. To me, I would prefer the Prowler over the SSR, but that's because I like Prowlers, because just like when we talk about Vipers, that's what was on all the Plymouth dealership showrooms when I worked for Chrysler and was traveling the country going into Chrysler dealerships. The SSR is a unique little vehicle. They still have never taken off. And I don't know which one. The Prowler, I think, is probably a little stronger right now. Long term, I think it's kind of a crapshoot. Your Chevy guys are going to want an SSR. Your Mopar guys are going to want a Prowler. So I would probably say they're probably going to be kind of probably hang in the same vicinity would be my guess. Old School's here with us. Don from Nashville. Old School's not a fan of the SSR. So that's going to be, like I said, they were both unique. They were both limited production. They all have, they both have all the attributes of being a collector vehicle. The SSR was V8. The Prowler, obviously, which was always the biggest complaint about it, was it was a V6. And, that may continue to plague it a little bit, but they were still a pretty unique car for the time, that's for sure. Lee from New York made it. Nate, SSRs are cool till you have to work on one. Rusty James is here. Let's see. Prowlers were only automatic. Yes, Old School, I believe Prowlers were all only automatic. They were the 3.5 V6 automatic. And that was, one of the biggest complaints about the Prowler is they were V6 automatics. But what happened to the 40 Ford COE? It's sitting next door, just on the back burner right now. Sitting in the shop next door, lined up with the rest of the good cars. So, but it's still over there. We just haven't had time to deal with it. Kevin L's here with us. Number one, I saw 2 SSRs last night. Lots of plastics. Looks affordable and budget built. Prowler bumpers don't help it, but it's way cooler. And the Prowler bumpers, obviously, that was mandatory. I mean, that was a government deal. However, they made them very, very easy to remove. Very easy. There wasn't hardly anything to take those bumpers off, but they did have to have them. That was a NHTSA crash standard requirement to have those bumpers on the Prowler. Most people didn't like them. Most of them came off almost immediately. But yeah, that was another, negative that a lot of people didn't like about the Prowler was those big bumpers. Me personally, I still like the Prowler just because that's what I remember when I worked for Chrysler, just like with my Viper. That's a badge. As always, we better get a little bit of housekeeping just in case we've got some people out there. If you are on the Nobody's Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. Nobody's Show page on Facebook. If you just want to watch there, this is a shared video. You're perfect over there. If you want to comment, participate in the auctions, participate in trivia, you will need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook or the Nobody's Show channel on YouTube. Those are the only 2 sets of comments that I can see from where I'm at right now. David W. reopened his end and he's good now. Perfect. Glad it worked out and glad you're back with us. Autocorrect, please double check your autocorrect before you hit send. If autocorrect changes something and I cannot make out your comment, I will skip it and go on to the next one because I can't sit here and try to decipher something that got automatically changed. Trolls, as always, you guys are great with trolls. If we get trolls and they pop up, you guys are great about running them out. I will ignore them because they want my attention. So I ignore them. You guys do a good job running them out. I don't want to make this subscriber only or membership only. Eventually it may get to that, but as of right now, we're having a lot of fun. You guys back me up on the trolls, and that works out great, and I appreciate it. So, Bill, hit the like button and subscribe. Please subscribe. Appreciate that, Bill. You always got my back on that. Gary, wasn't the Auburn badge with 2 times the Hudson? Oh, you mean like this Auburn badge, Gary, and this Hudson badge? Or if you guys really want to have a rough day at work tomorrow, we can throw in that Auburn badge too. We can make it really tough. Tomorrow might be really tough. We keep whipping all that out. Number 1, the Stealth should have been way more popular for entry-level Dodge sports cars or the Laser all-wheel drive. I would agree with that. The Stealth was a neat little car. It was a Mitsubishi, but the twin-turbo Stealths were pretty quick. The all-wheel drive Lasers, and then they had the Talon, which was a Mitsubishi also. But I had a Talon an all-wheel drive Talon for a while as a company car up in Minneapolis when I was up in that zone office. But the Stealth I thought was a neat car. I really did. The RT twin turbo was a pretty cool car, a little bit ahead of its time. Some of the Japanese technology I think made it a little bit tricky. But the Stealth was a great car, and I always thought those were pretty cool as well. Number 1, thanks for bringing that up also. Jason's off all week this week, so he should be good to go tomorrow. David W., did the new style T-Birds have the 5.0 V8? I think it was a 4.6. If Dad's still on, he can tell us. Mom and Dad have one, but I think it's a 4.6. I don't think it was 5.0. I don't know if Dad can answer that because they've got one, but I'm not sure. But I think it was a 4.6 liter. Let's see. Big Job made it tonight. Glad Big Job's here with us. Number 1, Talon was a Fox Mustang fighter up here. Nobody had F-bodies in their corner of town. Anyway, and also if you could throw a share out there, let your friends know that we are on and are going tonight. So invite your friends over, throw a share out there, let them know we're up and rolling. Classic Ride, that Stealth had active aero and all-wheel steering along with a tunable exhaust. Yeah, the Stealth was a neat little car. They really were. Amy, we bought a Dodge yesterday, 01 4x4 6-speed diesel with going to use it to build the 47 Studebaker. Oh, that'd be a pretty good donor truck. So Sounds like Jason's in a little whiskey tonight. He's a little gobble over there. We'll help him out with that. We can always do that, and then just boom, come right back up with an Auburn badge right after that. Get you guys psyched up for the Auburn badge. Like I told you, in my mind, I've got a lot of cool Auburn badges that I bought from my good friend Doug Prey. And tonight we're going to look at probably the most coolest one he's ever sold me. So we're going to get to that here in just a little bit. That's right, number one, the Stealth was pretty much an unsung hero. I would agree with that. Yeah, Dad said the Thunderbird was a 4.6. That new style Thunderbird was a 4.6 liter. So anyway, it's kind of what I've got for open chat. Keep an eye out for comments. Make sure we get caught up. We're going to move into the badge section. We're going to check out a couple of awesome badges, and then we're going to get into some awesome auction pieces tonight. So who's ready for some of that? Now, this badge that we're going to start off with, like I warned you, number one says, Dad, get your ankle pillow ready. Next Sunday, you're on the yard cart cruise. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him out there on the golf cart maybe sometime, ride around with us. But this Auburn badge is a pretty special piece. Doug and I talked about it. He said he'd sell it. He didn't have a use for it. But it's pretty epic, to say the least. Dad says that was a Jaguar-based 4.6 V8 that Ford used, because that Ford actually owned Jaguar back then, and it was a Jaguar-based 4.6 in that Thunderbird. I think Mom and Dad's is an 03, I think. But they made them there for 4 or 5 years of that little, retro type bird. Jason's ready to go. Jason, let's go. Jason's so excited, we'll just throw them both up there again. Hammer down, boys. I appreciate all you guys are out there wanting to hit the like button. I appreciate that. That means a lot, that you guys actually enjoy what we're doing enough here to not only hit the like button yourself, but encourage others to do it as well. And sharing it with your friends, encouraging them to get on. That's what makes this thing what it is. Number one, so it's not a 4.6 version of the 5.0. Dad said it was a Jaguar-based motor. I don't know much about it. So, but anyway, that's right. Brian says, big job. Must be brutal paving. I bet it is. Jason says, take it easy. I need to make it to the end of the show. Well, you guys were like saying, bring it on. So you wanted, as you said, get it on, Jason. So that's what we did. So, but that's what makes it a good time. That's why we're having fun with a Hudson badge. And we'll just do the Hudson badge this time. We'll take it easy on you, because we're going to get ready to get into the badges now. Obviously, we talk a lot about it. I'm sure some of you guys have checked out one of my favorite websites, American Auto Emblems. We talk about it on here pretty regularly. Number one of those cigarette packs behind me. Nope, those are actually oil cans, kind of. Bill says, Jason, you have to take a shot of water every time. Well, we'll catch it. We'll catch it real quick. Number one, no big deal. This is actually a Phillips 66 plaque. This is a dealer plaque for a Phillips 66 distributor of oil cans, different styles of Trop Arctic. Clear back from the early square can from 1912 to 1930, 35 to 39, 54 to 59, 72 to 84. There's obviously some gaps in there, but this was a dealer plaque awarded to Phillips 66 dealers. Has the Trop Arctic history on the back of it. American Auto is at the website. American Auto Emblems, I think, is what it's actually called, Tweedly D. Big Jump says, thank God Pete's have good air conditioning. Alec digs it as well. History of the Trop Arctic. We'll read it real quick. There's not a lot here. In the beginning, as far as existing records show, Trop Arctic originated as a trademark for a motor oil sold by the Manhattan Oil Company of Iowa, whose headquarters were located in Des Moines, Iowa. Trop Arctic was first registered with the United States Patent Office by Manhattan on November 12, 1912. Manhattan Oil Company of Iowa was purchased by Phillips Petroleum Company in 1930. In 1929, the Okmulgee and Kansas City compound plants of the Independent Oil and Gas Company were packaging Trop Arctic in drums and 5-gallon cans. The first Trop Arctic motor oil manufactured under the Phillips name was produced and packaged at the Kansas City and Okmulgee refineries. Trop Arctic motor oil in sealed quart cans was introduced In the mid-1930s, the 1935 Trop Arctic was sold in green and orange cans, right here, which featured palm tree and igloo illustrations. Then in 38 or 39, the green can was discontinued and replaced with a blue can with white lines and a blue and white Phillips 66 shield. In 1954, the Trop Arctic trademark was applied to the company's new all-weather multi-viscosity top-quality motor oil. Since 1954, Trop Arctic motor oil has continually improved and upgraded to exceed all requirements and demands of the ever-changing automotive industry and to provide American motorists with a truly great motor oil. So this is a dealer plaque that hung in, any sort of Phillips 66 dealer, if it was an award or just something they gave them. But it's a cool piece. This actually came from the local Phillips distributor. I bought it directly from the son of the owner of the Phillips distributorship. So super excited about that. So let me get this thing back up out of the way. These are like an enamel type deal too. These are actually metal with enamel, like just the badges that we look at on these particular pieces that are attached to the wooden plaque. Like I said, there's 20 more signs just in the office, almost 20 more signs in the office that you guys haven't seen, because I did all this stuff when I first started a couple years ago. Episodes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, up to about 20. I was using the stuff here in the office to hang up back here. You guys haven't seen so much of this, so we'll start working some of that in where we can. No problem. Number one, I'm glad it wasn't too long. We could at least read it, and catch up with it. Big Job says, nice piece. It's a great piece. Wall DC history. That's next to the history. Between these watch on a 52-inch TV. So, holy cow, I don't know how I look on a 52-inch TV, but it might not be good. How about a Hudson badge? How about an Auburn badge? As we get ready to get into the badge section and talk about the next Auburn badge. Now, obviously, these Auburn pieces up here are going to go to our winner after next Sunday night. We're going to draw next Sunday for these pieces. The next Auburn badge we're going to look at is absolutely not for sale. Let's see. Jason says super cool. Kevin says cool history piece. Pete's watching on a 65-inch, and Heather looks great. She probably does. She probably looks pretty good in 65-inch TV because she's kind of small up there in the corner. So, but this badge here is it's pretty special. Like I said, when the one of my favorite websites, American Auto Emblems, when they brought up this badge. Now you got to remember, American Auto Emblems that website has badges for everything, cars that I've never even heard of, or anything like it. I mean, just crazy, bonkers, rare stuff, and they've got pictures of it, descriptions of it. Super, super rare, oddball manufacturers, tiny, dinky manufacturers that just produce handfuls of cars. And they've got the information on that website. This particular Auburn badge, they have it on their website, and that website says this badge is scarce. They consider this badge scarce, and this is the website that has the rarest of the rarest of the rarest badges listed, and they said this Auburn badge is scarce. So to put it into perspective, that's how rare it is. No, Phil, that Phillips plaque is part of my collection. So it's a pretty epic piece. Obviously, Auburn, and this is from the 30s, and Auburn was obviously a luxury car in the 30s. And obviously, the United States was in the middle of a Great Depression in the 30s. Obviously, not selling a ton of luxury cars. Brian Dispatch, being on the mend, I've seen almost all the past shows. Well, good. At least you're still healing up after you got all busted up falling out of the trailer. At least you're still hanging in there and getting better. No problem, Phil. Hudson badge. So, like I said, when that website calls this badge scarce, that kind of tells you something. Obviously, not a lot of Auburns produced in the 30s. They were a super premium luxury car. And obviously not a lot of buyers for them. A base price on a Ford back then, was $500 and some bucks. In fact, the badge we're going to look at is a 1934. The base price of a 34 Ford, I think, when I looked it up, was like $555. The base price of an Auburn was about $1,000. So, almost twice as much versus you could almost buy 2 Fords for what you could buy a base Auburn for. And this is in the middle of the Great Depression. So obviously not a lot of those flying off the shelf. Now, let's take this one step further to really grasp the rarity of it. 12-cylinder Auburns. Obviously, the Auburn is a luxury car anyway. How many people are buying 12-cylinder Auburns? Not very many. I mean, there wasn't enough money to go around. A lot of people were worried about eating, much less spending several $1,000s on a luxury car with a 12-cylinder engine. So that kind of being said, leading up to this, like I said, I'm sure I paid more than this than I've paid for any other Auburn badge, or more than a lot of badges. I've got a few badges I've paid more than this for, but not many. And it's a beautiful piece. It really is. I don't know if it's new or been re-chromed, but it is in excellent condition. It has to be an original. It's way too detailed for anybody to have ever reproduced this, and it weighs a ton. For the size, this thing fits in the palm of my hand. I bet it weighs a pound, and it fits in the palm of my hand. That's right, big job, just like the 12-cylinder Lincolns. So without further ado, here it is, the big kahuna of my Auburn badge collection. Not just my badges. I've got some pretty cool badges, but what I consider the big kahuna of my Auburn badge collection, the front bumper badge for a 12-cylinder 1934 Auburn. This piece to me is just magic. It's big, it's heavy, it's beautiful. It is designed to actually mount right to the front bumper. Now, if you go to American Auto Emblems and look at this particular badge on there, there is a picture of a 34 Salon. That was the car that Doug owned that we did a video on. Now, to put this into perspective on rarity, now I couldn't figure out how many actual Auburn 12s were built in 34. Alex says that's an epic piece. Everybody says that's awesome. It's killer. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. They made about 7,200 Auburns in 34 total. So a little over 7,200 Auburns. Now, when you put this into perspective, now some of these numbers vary of the 12-cylinder cars. Auburn Bowtail Speedsters, 14. Fayette Salon Phaeton, 8. Salon Cabriolet, 4. Not 40, not 400. These are single-digit numbers on 12-cylinder Auburn production in these various models for 1934. Zach says epic is an understatement. So the numbers that we're talking about, like I said, some websites they vary a little bit. One website will say 14, one will say 17, but we're dealing in a few of these double-digit numbers, a few of these models single-digit numbers. 1934 only, and these different models with 12 cylinders are in the single-digit numbers in production. A few of them may be in the teens, but basically single, and maybe a few in the teens digits. So did they make 20? Did they make 30 of these? Did they make 40 of them? Did they make 50 or 100 and then not use them? I would guess that's probably what happened. They probably made 50 of them, 100 of them, and didn't use them. And I think that's probably where this piece came from. Now, you can see how it's, like as we looked at, how it's curved to fit the bumper. Look at the mounting stud on the back of this thing. This is an emblem, okay? Let me give you a size on this to put it into a perspective. Let's see. Big job. I remember the first time seeing a 12-cylinder Lincoln in a junkyard. That was impressive. I don't have the rest of the car. I'd love to have had that 34 Salon that Doug had, but at $400K, I was out, because that's what it was priced at, was $400K. If you didn't see the video on that 34 Salon, go back and watch it. We did it last year when I was there. Car is absolutely amazing. It's in the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company playlist on YouTube. Go back and check that out. You'll see the badge on that car on there. Eloy's got a 36 Zephyr with a 12-cylinder. Those cars are awesome as well. I actually got a grill for a 36 12-cylinder Lincoln. So to put it into perspective, this thing is about 3 inches high. little over 3 inches high. It is 2.5 wide. So we're 2.5 across here, a little over 3 here. Okay. So that puts it into perspective. It obviously fits in the palm of your hand very nicely, size-wise. Look at the mounting stud on the back of this thing to hold it. Joe, do I have any parts or badges for a moon? You know, Joe, I think I may have a moon badge. I don't remember. I know we've looked at them before. I don't know if my daughter and I ever got one or not, but I know we've tried. I'm curious. I'll have to do some digging to see if I've got a moon. But it's got a 3/8 stud on the back. It's 2.5 here. It's got a 3/8 inch diameter stud mounted to this big block on the back of this thing. I said, this weighs close. I think it weighs close to a pound. It's got beautiful chrome, and you can see the ribs in it back through here. The Auburn 12, and this literally bolted dead square center in the front of the bow tie bumper on a 34 Auburn. So go back and check out that video on that 34 Salon that we did at Doug's place, and you'll see this right in the center of the bumper. So this is, to me, is awesome. I'll have to see if I've got any moon stuff, Joe. Like I said, I know we've tried to buy some before, but I don't remember if we ever got one. I'm going to have to do some looking on that one. Alan, hard to believe that Cadillac and that era was offering V8, V12, and V16. I know, that's bonkers. Dennis digs it. X-Ray Dean digs it. Norm's on from Bangor, Pennsylvania. So, like I said, this thing to me is, I got a lot of cool badges. And this is probably one of the top ones. But like I said, there was, the production on 12-cylinder Auburns, and most of these models were in the single digits. So don't know how many of these were made, don't know how many, but you got to figure a base Auburn was almost twice as much as a Ford. They made a little over 7,200 total Auburns. Now, the people that did buy an Auburn, how many of them were splurging for a 12-cylinder during the Depression? It's kind of, like I said, this is an awesome piece. I'm super excited about it. And that's why, to me, this is kind of the big kahuna of my Auburn badges. I mean, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is amazing. I mean, this is so, like I said, we've been kind of building up to this one from these over the last couple of weeks on these other smaller ones. But there she is. That's what I consider kind of my super cool one. Let's see. Big job. We had a 12-cylinder Cummins on our Cedar Rapids Rock Crusher. It was enormous. Changing the oil was a job. So I don't know how much oil these cars had with 12 cylinders. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. Jeff Taylor made it tonight. But there she is, the 1934 Auburn 12 front bumper badge, used in 1934 only on a very, very limited run of 12-cylinder Auburn automobiles during the middle of the Great Depression, when most people were trying to worry about buying food, much less luxury cars. So not a very common piece. Super happy to add it to my collection. Super excited that Doug agreed to sell it to me. Zach, so I guess the 12-cylinder badge is worth 12 drinks. Woo! That might get a little rough for you guys if we popped this up a few times throughout the evening, wouldn't it? So there we go. That's where it is. That's one of the ones I was excited about. I do still have some more badges and emblems from the Auburn Court Duesenberg that I definitely want to share with you guys. But since we're giving away the Auburn stuff next week, I wanted to get this one out and kind of work it into the Auburn section of the chat. We'll work some of that other stuff in as we go along. But this was it. This was kind of the super cool piece to me out of that collection. And like I said, I couldn't be happier to own it. I'm super excited that Doug agreed to sell it to me. He had to kind of think about it. It was sitting there in a case. He had this in a glass case. I said, do you want to sell it? And he said, oh, I don't really have a use for it. He goes, I know if I sell it to you that, that me and my daughter would absolutely appreciate it. Rick from North Carolina jumped on with us on Facebook. Glad you're here. Jason, incredible badge. You need a special display for that. Yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty epic. Bill says you're going to make it in larger sippy cups. Jeff says great badge. Big Jeff says put that one under glass. But yeah, it's like I said, it's epic. I don't even know any other way to describe it. Tweedly D got his 5.9 Cummins going today. Big Jim, put it on your belt buckle and go to Auburn Labor Day weekend. Yeah. So anyway, there she is. I know I hyped it up pretty good, but to me, it was worth it. I hope you guys think it was as cool as all the hype for what I put into it. But man, it's just, to me, to own a piece of history like this, I don't have $400K for the car or $1 million for a Boattail Speedster, but this is the real deal. It's an original piece. And like I said, the American Auto Emblems badge site that has the rarest of the rare on it says this is a scarce badge. So there she is, the Auburn 12 front bumper bar badge from the 1934 12-cylinder Auburn automobile. Rico and Jess made it. Hudson badge, regular Auburn badge. And then, like Zach said, the 12-shot Auburn badge. How about that? Wall DC, I'm heading to the International Hudson meet being held in Ypsilanti, Michigan this week. I'll probably see a number of Hudson Radiator badges. Sweet. That's right, Kevin. It is an awesome piece. Like I said, I geeked out about it. Doug wasn't sure he wanted to sell it. It was one of those deals we had to talk about it a little bit. But he knows that me and my daughter would appreciate it, and that's, why he was. I mean, it wasn't cheap. He didn't give it to me by any means, but that was why he agreed to sell it. So Jim said I should have wore white gloves. Yeah. John's here. Badge number 2. We're going to jump up a few years into the 50s. Check out badge number 2. Now, this is actually a pretty cool badge as well. I had to have something decent to follow this. I mean, it couldn't be something kind of average. It had to be something fairly decent. But this badge here also has, it carries pretty good provenance with it. It's a beautiful, and it also is a beautiful piece. And it's got some really cool ornamentation to it as well. This is the 1951 to 1953 Oldsmobile Rocket 88 trunk badge. This thing is awesome too. Big rocket ship with the 88 in it, shooting for the stars. These things are great. This piece actually, we look at the back, is new old stock. It's got a little bit of shelf wear. It's got a few pits in it, but man, because it's just been sitting around for 70 years. But it is a cool piece. Let's give you some dimensions on this one so you can kind of put it into perspective. Now, you got to remember that in 51 to 53, Oldsmobile already had the Rocket V8. The 303 was already in there starting in 49. Gail thinks it's cool. Jess thinks it's awesome. John digs it. Everybody thinks this is pretty cool too. So good. Alex says, what year? 51 to 53 used this badge from what I found. So 51, 52, 53, early 50s era on this. Remember, the Olds 88 got the 303 V8 in 49. Buick didn't have a V8 yet. Pontiac Chevy obviously didn't have a V8 yet. Chrysler had the Hemi in 51. So just after that, Cadillac, of course, had the overhead valve V8 in 49 as well. For Oldsmobile to be a mid-level car, come out with an overhead valve V8, and then put it in the smaller platform on the 88, it was pretty amazing. Joe says, hook that on the Hudson badge. Jason's trying to buy it. Jim says it's neat. X-ray. You had it made if that was what you're rolling in back then. That's right. Rocket 88. I mean, there was a song written called Rocket 88. It was such a big deal. Tweedly D's on his 65-inch TV. Steve Sexton's here with us. Big Job's a fan of the mid-50s Oldsmobile as well. Gary says, please tell me this doesn't equal 88 drinks. Well, we could just do this. 88 plus 12 and round her off to an even 100. Then we can start the auctions. That might get really interesting. We'll just even her up to an even 100 and go with that. So that's the deal with this thing. Let's check out this. This thing is 7.5 tip to tip. The 88 is about 3. So we're about 7.5 long and about 3 high. 3 stud mount. It's got a little slight curve to it for the trunk lid, but very slight. So not too bad. But a cool piece. Zach says 100 drinks nobody would get would last past the first auction. JG says 51 holes horn cap. Don't have a horn cap for 51 holes, but I do have this super cool trunk badge. So it's a neat piece. I knew I had to have something kind of cool to follow this up. So that's what I picked out. The Newell stock with a little sheriff wearing a few pits, 51, 52, 53 era Oldsmobile Rocket 88 trunk badge. So cool piece there, and I'm glad you guys liked it just as much as the Auburn badge. Pretty special night tonight with the Auburn badge. Obviously, if you can't tell, I kind of geeked out about it. Followed up by the early 50s Olds 88 Rocket from the trunk. Is it stamped with who made him? No, it just has a GM part number. Well, it says made in USA BLC. I don't know if you guys can make that out or not right there. It's pretty small, so. KB Truck digs it. That's right. JG says side by side. Add them up, 100. Jason says, holy smokes, guys, I'm already 2 beers and 2 shots. So anyway, cool badges tonight. Had a lot of fun with them. My awesome Auburn badge, the Rocket 88 for the Oldsmobile. I'm glad you guys enjoyed them both and appreciated them both, because that's why we do it. Talk about the history of these cars. Talk about what these badges and emblems represent from our past and what they mean to our hobby now in the collector car world. So who's ready to do some auctions? Steve, any rebuildable 40s Chevy pickups? Depending on which one you want. You know, you've got 40, which is one nose, 41 to 46, which is another nose, then 48 to 50. Depends on which style you want and which truck you want, because they made a lot of different trucks back then. So best just give me a call and go over the details on that stuff. Tweedly D likes them. Let's see. Jim, Turnsis and AC made some die-cast back then as well. Big Job says auction time. JG, heavy-duty lifting, that's for sure. Zach, BLC made a lot of stuff for cars. Fog lights, badges, trim pieces. Great information, Zach. Appreciate that as well. A little bit of housekeeping from last week's auctions real quick before we get into the new ones. If you guys are on Dennis Chapman, I got your payment. No address, no shipping info on your payment. I need that from you. Same with Bill Disk. No address for shipping on that one. So need to get that from you guys. And then Gabriel, I have not checked that fender molding yet. No, I've been hauling cars the last couple days. So I do have to check parts tomorrow, though. So I will check tomorrow on that fender molding. Johnny Z, I got your payment, and you wanted to get the digital download of the Nobody's Playbook. I don't have any control over that. So if you're on Johnny Z, the digital playbook, I don't have control over that. The guy that set all this up for me has that. So you can get a hold of me. The manuals are on the way, but give me a call, and either I can credit you that towards the I can either put it in the raffle for you, or I can give you credit if you buy something tonight. If you're on, Johnny. If you're not, I'll give you a call tomorrow and get that sorted out. So Bill Disk, I need an address. Dennis Chapman, I need an address. Guys, please remember, when you pay me, whether it's PayPal, friends and family, check, money order, make sure you put a shipping address in there. I know you figure I figure I've got it. Well, yeah, I probably do. Somewhere in, that's about half of it. That's not all the raffle information. That's just the episodes, part of the attachments. I've got about this much more in raffle info from the last year and a half. So I probably do have it somewhere, but how long it's going to take to find it, no clue. So please keep that in mind when you pay me, whether you use PayPal, friends and family, or whether you mail a check, whatever. Just make sure you've got shipping info in there so I can get that stuff on the way to you. So let's see. Phil, how about those Norse cattle spray cans? Yeah, those are kind of some neat cans as well. Jason, yesterday was my oldest daughter's 20th birthday. She's watching. So absolutely. Jason's daughter had her 20th birthday yesterday. Now she's hanging out with us. So I don't know if that's good or bad. We might be corrupting her if she's hanging out with us. So. Jenna, shout out to Jenna. Everybody tell Jenna happy birthday. And thanks for hanging out with all of us nobodies. Tweedly D got a Studebaker hubcap. Great. Awesome. Bill Disk made it. Glad you made it. We just talked about you because I need your shipping info, Bill, if you missed that. Number one says you're bidding from Canada, cheaper to pay in person. That's for sure. Yeah, especially with the exchange rate and what it would cost to pay. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. Number one and I had a long discussion about that. Dennis will call Monday. Perfect. No problem. Not a big deal to me. It just holds up your shipment. I know we'll get it straightened out. I'm not worried about it. I just don't like holding up anybody's shipment. Once you pay, I want to keep the stuff moving out. So I don't want you guys to think I'm holding you up. That's why I always remind everybody. You've got a few happy birthdays coming on from our Facebook viewers too. So appreciate that. Thanks everybody. BW made it. David W said Jen's going to want a project car now. Yep. Auctions. Who's ready for some auctions? Let's prime up with another Hudson badge or an Auburn badge. Or we can just throw up the 100-shot, double pack 100-shot, double whammy. So, as always, on the auction stuff, we'll go over this real quick. And, we had some new guys on last night. I should have went over this to start with. I did not. My fault. Payment, check, money order, Western Union, friends and family on PayPal only. There's a few instances where some of you guys forget to use friends and family. And what actually you end up doing, especially because some of you guys throw in extra for the raffle, you actually end up losing raffle chances because PayPal is taking that money. So PayPal, friends and family, please remember that if you can, check, money order. The payment information is in the text part of this video, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. The payment information is in both of those formats, both the email address for PayPal and the mailing address. Just make sure you put a note on there of what it is for so that I know exactly what it is. I've got my notes here that I will have, but so I can usually track it down, but something quick to reference it. And also if you are, and a lot of you guys are doing this and it's perfectly fine, but if you're going to pay for auction stuff and raffle stuff on one, no problem. Just, if you want, just say, hey, $10 for the auction items, $10 for the raffle, auction items, $5 for the raffle, something like that. Because, please remember, I'm dealing with a lot of this every week, and that way I can keep it straight because I don't want to short anybody on anything. So, let's see. Jason says, no, he's that she has to drive home, so she's got to be good. But she says, thanks to all the nobodies with a red face. Well, that's great. I'm glad you're hanging out with us, Jenna, and glad that you got her to. Well, I don't know. That might be bad for you, Jason. She may end up costing you more money if she gets into hanging out with us and likes cool stuff. So, let's see. All right. Looks like I am caught up with comments, including the happy birthdays from Facebook for Jenna, from Zach, Alec, and Gail. And let's get ready to boogie on some auction stuff. As always, after I get done describing, as soon as we start looking at something, we'll check it out. You guys are more than welcome to start bidding on it. Get us rolling. And after we get done with the description, look it over, check it out. We will put it on a timer and go 2 minutes. No, Norma, I'm sorry. I still don't have any shirts. I need to call the guy again. If you want, I can credit that to your auction purchases, and then we can get a shirt when I get them, or we can just wait. I do need to call him again, though. I just know during car show season, it's super tough to get him to do a small run. Who's in on the raffle? We'll get to that when we get to the raffle section. We're already in the auction, so I don't want to stop here and jump around. That'll get me all screwed up. So we'll get I do have all that ready for you, though, so we will go over that here shortly. Big job. So, like I said, after we get done with the description, as soon as we start looking at a piece, you guys are more than welcome to start bidding. After we go over the description, I will put it on a 2-minute timer on my cell phone. A lot of you guys are dealing with a delay, and that delay can depend on your provider. It can depend on your device, on your bids. I will announce when a minute has passed, when a minute 30 has passed, and we've got 20 seconds left, 15 seconds left. A lot of you are dealing with a 15 or 20-second delay. So once I announce a minute has passed, please be thinking about your max bid. And around a minute 30, you might be thinking about be ready to pull the trigger on that max bid. A lot of times we've got some of these guys that are really getting good at sniping. So if something's up and it's sitting at $30 and you're thinking you'll go to 40 on it, you're probably better off putting that 40 in, because that's saved a few guys over the last couple of weeks where they went ahead and bid their max bid, and all the snipers came in and there was 3 or 4 bids, and they were, say if it was at 30 and you hit it at 40, all those snipe bids came out at 35, 36, 38, and it still saved you. So please be thinking about your high bid. If you try to go $1 at a time at the end, you're probably going to get beat. Pete says the first emblem of Studebaker bullet nose. No, that's right. Number one, the exchange rate is brutal. And I feel for you. Unfortunately, it's out of our control. So first item tonight, we actually just looked at it, believe it or not. Yes, I actually have 2 of these, and they're both new. I bought 3 or 4 of these at a swap meet 4 or 5 years ago. I've sold the other couple off. I have 2 left. 1 for me, 1 for somebody on here. What do you think of that? Yeah, how about that? 2. 1 for me, 1 for you. I'm going to put mine back here out of the way so I don't forget about it. And I'm going to sell this one to one of you. Zach says, sniper here, armed and ready. Number 1, we need to dig a tunnel to mid-Kansas. Build this, got to hop off for work. Good luck. Glad you made it. Mercedes is on. Glad you're here. Zach's kicking us off at 30 on this one right out of the gate. Obviously, we've already looked at it. I'm going to go ahead and give you the dimensions on it again, since nobody knew that it was for sale the last time. But just to refresh, I think we were 7.5. Actually, almost 7 3/4 all the way to the tip of the rocket. 7 3/4 by about 3. Tweedledee wants to raffle it. So we're already live on this one. I've got Charles at 35 on the old Rocket 88 badge. It is almost perfectly flat. It's got a slight curve to it, but it is not a perfectly flat mount. It is stud mount on the back. I've got Tweedledee at 60 as of right now. Tweedledee is my high bidder at 60. And since we've already looked at this one, we've already talked about it a lot. We're not going to spend much time on it. We're going to get it on the timer and get going. You do see the pitting in it right here. I hope you guys can see all of that in the camera. I'll try to show you. I don't want everybody to think this is perfect, because it does have a little pitting and a little shelf wear. But we'll go ahead and get rolling. Charles at 70 is my high bidder. Right now, while we get the stopwatch set up, Charles at 70, and we are live, kicking this off with Charles as our high bidder at 70. Tony's on with us. We are live, ticking down on the Newell stock 1951, 52, 53 era Oldsmobile 88 trunk badge. That point's actually pretty sharp. You might want to be careful. You don't want to drop that on your toe. Actually, that is pretty sharp, actually. So we're ticking along. Charles at 70 is my high bidder. Cool piece. Like I said, kind of surprised you with that one. Snuck that one in. We'll give everybody a Hudson badge here to get going, as Alec comes back with a $75 bid. And we're working our way towards the 1 minute point. I've got Alec at 75. And trying to make sure I keep up with all the comments right now. Alec at 75 is our high bidder. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. And 1 minute has now passed. Be thinking about that max bid if you want to jump in on this thing. I've got Alec at 75. So the back's nice and clean. Tweedledee, snipers are sleeping. Yeah. Well, like Zach said, sniper here, armed and ready. So I think he's ready to go. You never know when he's going to slide in there. So, like I said, you guys are getting good at it. As we come up on that minute 30 mark, we're just about there. Alec at 75, and 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. We are running down towards the end of this one. Keep an eye out for those snipers. By the time you see this, it's going to be about done. We have 20 seconds left. Alec at 75 is my high bidder. 15. Alec at 75 is what I've still got. Zach at 85. Charles at 81. 10 seconds left. Zach at 85. And that does it. Zach at 85. I don't know if, or was Big Job said, do I have 88? I don't think that was a bid, was it, Big Job? But I had Zach at 85. Brian Dispatch, Chad, who was at the middle of the fuss about sharp hood spears? Nader. I think Ralph Nader was behind a lot of that hood ornament stuff as well. So, okay, that's what I thought, Big Job. I didn't think that was a bid. Yeah. So, Zach at 85 on the 88 badge. That's what I thought he was doing. It just kind of, when I see numbers pop up, especially in the last 10 or 15 seconds of the auction, as I'm sitting here keeping an eye and I see numbers start rolling, it kind of throws me wonky, especially when we're down to the last few seconds. So this one's going to Zach at 85. So what do we got next? We got badges, we got emblems, we got a hubcap, we got a couple little signs, we got all kinds of cool stuff. That's right, Big Job, giving it that auction feeling. Tim from Oklahoma's on. Somebody wanted a Norse can. Didn't somebody want a Norse can? Wasn't somebody asking about one of those just a second ago? See if I can get back here through my comments. Let's see. I thought somebody wanted a Norse can. Oh, Phil did. Yep. Well, guess what? I've got one. So let's sell one of those as well. I actually grabbed it. I didn't get through much of that stuff after I showed it to the other night, but I did grab a few things that we were going to do tonight. So let's go ahead and do one. This is actually kind of cool. Brian Dispatch, 67 Kansas license plate. Actually, that's license plates. The only thing I don't have in tonight's batch. However, speaking of license plates, I think I haven't written the check yet, but there are people I know, so I'm sure that it's going to be good. I think I bought an awesome collection of Kansas plates. I get this collection bought, and I'm going to be selling off some of my earlier stuff, 20s, 30s, 40s era stuff. So hopefully I'll have that knocked down this week. So if you like Kansas license plates and you want to see some cool early stuff, I'm going to thin down some of my other stuff to buy this other collection. So please be watching for that. It's going to be cool. So anyway, that being said, let's get to a can. This is so awesome. One of the Norse cans from the other night fresh out of the barn. I did wash the dust off of them so we can see condition on the couple that I got ready tonight. But like I said, those things were thick with dust. But they've got great color because they've been inside for decades. This Norse Knock 'em Cold fly spray. This thing is so cool and so awesome. Check this thing out. 1 gallon metal Norse Knock 'em Cold fly spray. Business is good. A product of JH Inc., Omaha, Nebraska. Active ingredient, petroleum hydrocarbons, pine oil. Phil started us off at 50. He ain't messing around. He was serious about getting one of these things. It is Norse on both sides, has the Viking on both sides. The top has some surface rust. The handle is bent a little bit. Does still have the cap on it, so the top is a little bit crusty. But it is bent up a little bit down here on the bottom. So I want to make everybody aware of that. But it does have awesome colors. And the Viking is great. I mean, check out the shield and the club. Knock 'em Cold fly spray, and look at the club he's got. You knock the whole wall out if you missed it. When you go over the fly, you take the whole thing out. It's called Knock 'em Cold. So anyway, there we go. Let's go ahead and get this ready to get it on the timer. Phil is going to start us off at $50 on it because he wanted one, and it is cool. Great colors on these things. Jason says, noticed that thing the other day. It's killer. Yes, it is. So Phil's in at 50 right out of the gate, and let's go ahead and get it started. We are live on the timer. It is a cool can. Some of these ag cans, are not quite as desirable as some of the gas station pieces, but a lot of these are petroleum-based companies, just like a lot of the other stuff. So cool with the Viking on both sides. Tim, where am I in Kansas? I'm in Great Bend, right about in the middle. If you put your finger right in the middle of the map, you're going to be fairly close to me. But Great Bend is where I'm at. So, Big Job brings up a good point. I wonder how many of those were used for target practice with that bullseye circle on it. Yeah, that's for sure. Especially you've got this circle, and then you got the shield as a circle too. So you had like outside of the can, the big circle, and then the shield for the bullseye. So yeah, you could do a lot with this thing. But Phil's in at 50. Nobody else doesn't seem like they even want to mess with him. So Phil may just take this one home as we come up on the 1 minute point. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes guys get out there and say they're just going to own it, and that's the way it's going to be. 1 minute has now passed. We are rolling down the backside on this Norse Knock 'em Cold fly spray can. David W., where would you find another, though? Yeah, Jason's in at 55. It is green. This checker pattern is green. Jason at 55. As we're coming up on the minute and a half mark, Phil's at 75, comes back. 1 minute and 30 seconds, almost there. We've hit 1 minute, 30 seconds. We are on the backhand. Yes, Joe, it does have some dents in the bottom of it. It is dented a little bit on the top as well. 20 seconds left. Coming down to the wire on this, 15 seconds left. Jason said, oh, he'll give up and drink. 10 seconds. Phil at 75. Just about down to the wire on this one. 5 seconds. And that does it. Phil at 75. That's right. Big Job says Phil loves it. Phil does love it. It's so cool. But yeah, the green checkerboard pattern, like I said, I don't know the dents, but the thing about this stuff being inside for so many years, the colors are great. The paint is great. The finish is cool. Cool can. That's right, Bill. It's got a good going. It's got a good home. Eric says he just bought one and paid more than that for his. So. Phil is a Norse collector. Awesome. Glad. Perfect. Glad you got it. That's right, Tim. You might be able to get a few of the dents out of it. So. Zach said he liked it too, but he didn't want to run Phil out on it, so he just kept drinking as well. Well, we'll help you guys out with that. I want to try something completely different. Completely different. We've never done anything like this. And you guys may not even bid on them. We'll see if anybody even wants to bid on this stuff. But it is kind of different. It is kind of a cool ornamental type thing. But what these were, they're new old stock, and it's got a cool Chevy badge on it for our Chevy collectors. What these are is these are early grill covers for the wintertime to keep cold air out of your radiator, let the car run a little warmer. These are brand new. This is a set. A right and a left. I think these are 42 car, but I'm not sure on that. But here's the first one. It has the super cool Chevy badge on it. The 40s era Chevrolet badge embossed in this thing. It is actually embossed in the material. I don't know what these are. They're kind of a plastic type material. They are flexible. The other side does not have anything on it. but they do sell as a pair, so I'm going to send a pair to whoever, or if anybody even wants them. It's just something kind of different. I had them laying there. I was like, what the heck? Let's see if anybody likes these or not. These actually had ways that they like snapped on the grill, had a little attachment that would like snap over the grill and keep the air out of the, keep the air from going through the grill into the radiator during the winter. Weather front, yeah, big job, kind of a weather front. Yeah, that's right, Tweety. Instead of a chunk of cardboard, they actually had these as an accessory. Still do actually up north on vehicles. But these are original Newell stock. I think they're 42, but I'm not sure on that. But they're definitely 40s era Chevrolet. Yeah, that's right, grill covers, Jason. They went on the front of the grill. So I don't know if anybody's in. Zach's going to throw $10 out there to get us started. So I guess Zach's going to start us off at 10. We'll go ahead and sell them, see if anybody else is interested in them. Jason says 15. Ryan and Amy said they use feed sacks. So anyway. We'll go ahead and get ready to roll these things. No scam. Sorry I was late at work. Now grocery shopping. Well, glad you got on with us for a little while. Let me get my notes here, and we'll get this on the timer. Zach says 18, and we are live on the timer. I've got Zach at 18, and we are live. Get my notes finished up here. Chris, is that Chevy clock I sold you for sale yet? Actually, Chris, it's right over there on the wall. I'm staring at it right now, and it's awesome. So I don't really want to sell it, no. Pete says 20. Tim, diving to 60 to 66 C10. Yeah, I've got several Chevy pickups in that era. Just depends on what you need. I don't have like good used front fenders or anything like that. So number one, those are welded to the front of any 70s, 80s pickups you find up in Canada. It becomes part of the grill and dissolves at the same time. Jason at 25 on the 42 Chevy, or I think 42 Newell stock grill covers. Jason at 25 as we come up on the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed. I've got Jason at 25. Like I said, these just could be used as a cool ornamental piece. Hang them up wherever, but it is new. The emblem is embossed in the back right there. So I don't know if you can kind of see that in the camera. It's not, it is painted, but it's actually painted on the embossed part. And like I said, nothing on the other one. Jason at 25 is our high bidder, but they do come as a pair. I'm selling them as a pair. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We're on the back side on this deal. Please keep in mind your maximum bids. Please keep in mind your delay on your particular system. 20 seconds left. Jason at 25 on the Chevrolet radiator covers. Zach at 35. 15 seconds left. Zach at 35 is my high bidder. Down to 10 seconds. Zach at 35. Just about down to the wire. 5. And that will do it. Zach at 35. So kind of a neat piece, something a little bit different. Number one, they had snaps, so you could put them on the kick panels of the doors for storage in the warmer months. I didn't know that. That's part of what the snaps for, to snap them inside the car. Bill Wagaman, late breaking from Pocono. Hamlin and Bush disqualified. So, anyway, Chris Walter, a good friend of mine from Missouri on, who does a lot of cool stuff as well. Always been great to deal with. Bought a lot of stuff for him over the years. And but no, Chris, that Chevy clock is right there. I'm admiring my Chevrolet time right now that you sold me. I'm still glad you sold it to me. I still appreciate you selling it to me because I still dig it. But it's right over there. I'm admiring it. It hangs in my office. I look at it every single day. Number one, NASCAR is dead. The Unilug proves it. Yeah, I haven't watched NASCAR. Around 2000, was kind of the end of it for me personally. Anybody thirsty? How about another emblem or another badge, actually? Let's see the clock. Zach says, I'm going to use it on my 53 or just hang it on the wall. Either way, I'm stoked. I'll tell you what, I'll try to hang the clock up next week. It's actually, you can't really see it very well because it's got a terrible glare on it from where it's at right now. So we'll move the Chevrolet time over here in the next week or two and check it out. Let's back it up and go back into the 20s, maybe early 30s. And this is a rougher badge. It's definitely chipped up. Chris says Chevy clock 1700. Would love to have it back. I don't want to sell it. I wouldn't take 1700 for it. So, but I'll try to hang it up. Maybe next week we'll try to get it over here. But let's do another early badge. We haven't done an early badge in a while, even though this one's a little bit rougher. It's pretty chipped up. I know it's not a higher dollar piece, but it's still cool. And sometimes some of this lower dollar stuff gets in, it opens it up for a few other guys into their collection. So let's go ahead and do another early enamel type badge. Maybe we can talk about the VW Beetle in the last video with the cans. That's right, blue or white. The blue one, I bought that at Meekum for my daughter for her birthday, and the white one was just another one we picked up because she liked white. So I need to dig those out and do some videos on some of that stuff as well. But the next badge we're going to auction off tonight, it had enamel on it. It's pretty chipped up. A lot of the color's gone, but you can still see the word on this super cool old late 20s, early 30s era international badge. This is 3.5 wide by 2.5 high at the peak. 69 Mustang is a coupe. Zach says personal collection video would be cool. David Deb is kicking us off at 20 on the international badge. Now, like I said, a lot of this stuff, Tweedledee Studebaker hubcap, my first for the collection. This was porcelain, but a lot of it's chipped off. Now, the good thing about it is the actual international letters still look good. Most of the black is there. Obviously, some white chips here, some white chipped here. This was supposed to be blue. This was supposed to be blue. These outside diamonds were white. This is definitely a rougher badge, but still not, there again, some of these things get so crazy expensive that some of these little ones that aren't quite as nice are still cool pieces. And Alex coming in at 30. He says he's got one, but he'll take another. He's in at 30. Slight curvature to this one. Not terrible, but it does have a slight curvature to it. The little button on the back is gone from where these were pressed onto the grill shell. David W. is in at 35. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. David W. at 35, and we are live with David W. being our high bidder at 35 at this point. And we're ticking along. David W. at 35. Timer is on. Like I said, you guys are getting really good at your delay, but we know we have that delay. That's why I tell you when we're at a minute 30 and then 20 seconds left, things like that, so you guys can kind of finagle your delay. We're ticking along on this IHC badge. And the first 30 seconds has passed. I've got David W. at 35 on this one. There's a triangle for the mountains. It was a triple diamond IHC is what they did. Alec at 37. IHC used this triple diamond on everything. They kind of look like mountain because they're chipped up. But they're all supposed to be colored. 1 minute has now passed. I've got Alec at 37 on the IHC enamel badge. We are on the back side of this one, so be thinking about your max bids. Watch out for those snipers. Chris is still coming. Chris is up to 2,200 on the Chevy clock, but I don't want to sell it, dude. That's why I bought it, because I wanted one. So I'm glad that I'm still excited that you sold it to me. I still can't thank you enough for selling me, but I don't want to sell it now. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We are coming down towards the end on this thing. Alec at 37 is my high bidder. 20 seconds left. Alec at 37. 15 seconds. 10. Alec at 37 still. David W. 45. 5 seconds left to go. Brian came in at 40, but I've got David W. at 45, and that will do it. David W. at 45. So, cool piece. Even though it's chipped up, they're still cool pieces. Let's see. How about a hubcap? Who wants to do a hubcap? That's right, Josh. It's a lot funner to buy than sell. I know. Trust me. I've got that problem. I've got one cap for tonight. There again, nice chrome, dings and dents. This thing, this is probably a 40s era cap, so it's close to 80 years old. Alex says, nice snipe, Dave. Yep, you guys came right in there. Brian came in at 40, but there again, David went with his top bid at 45, and with that snipe shot, he missed the snipe shot. So, but there again, this is a good display cap type thing. Nice shiny chrome, dings and dents, good color, but a cool piece. This is a 40s era Oldsmobile cap. Like I said, you can see the dings and dents in it, but the problem with this is the chrome still has such a good shine. Actually, you can actually see the computer screen in the hubcap. Even though it's dented, you can still see the computer screen in the hubcap. David W. loves the IHs. Cool. Glad you got it. So this Oldsmobile cap, like I said, 40s era, dings, dents, super bright chrome. This is right at about 10 inches across the back. Just for idea. John says it'd make a great cereal bowl. Yes, it would. Paint is original, faded and worn a little bit, but it is original. This was black around here, I believe. Yeah. And then, of course, the amber and the red in there. Jason started us at 10, but Alec came back at 35. Looks like, Zach, it's a cool cap. Looks like someone used it for target practice with a BB gun. Yeah, but most of these they're not uniform enough to be that's for sure. So I've got Alec at 35 onto this cap. And let's go ahead and get this thing on top. We'll show you the back of it real quick. Dings, dents, surface rust, but it's not all rotted out. So, cool piece. Like I said, great for like a driver type car, but realistically, super cool wall ornament. It's got such a great shine that you hang this thing up on the wall, the light's just going to reflect off of it. So Alec at 35 is where we're at right now. And we are live on the timer. This one is ticking down right now. Alec at 35 on the Oldsmobile hubcap. All right. We're boogieing down and make sure I'm staying caught up with everybody's comments. Jason thinks he may have one of these as well. That's right, Tweedledee. Part of the paint is still there, which looks great against the shine of the chrome. "30 seconds has passed. We're rolling up towards a minute. Be thinking about those max bids. When we get up past a minute, you definitely don't want to be sitting there missing out. John, a story behind every ding and dent. And that's absolutely true. There is a story behind every ding and dent. Back then, this stuff didn't matter. They were not regarded as collector's pieces. They were utilitarian vehicles. They were used hard. They were used up. 1 minute. 1 minute has now passed. We are on the backside. Tweedledee, rocks are flipped upside down for lug nuts. Yep. Alec at 35 is still my high bidder. Jason started us at 10. Alec came in at 35. That's been kind of about it. So we'll see if we got any snipers on this thing as we get down to the wire on the Oldsmobile hubcap. Alec at 35 as we crest the minute 30 mark. We're coming down to the wire. Alec at 35. "20 seconds left. Alec at 35, still my high bidder. 15. Keep an eye on both formats for any snipers. Alec may walk away with this one pretty easy. 10 seconds left. Just about down to the wire on this one. And that will do it. Alec at 35. Let's see. Jason says, do I have a headache? No, I don't have a headache. So far, I'm good. We'll see how the rest of the night goes. So far, I'm doing good. We haven't done any badge bundles yet tonight. How about a badge bundle? Let's get some badge bundles going. Let's do a Chevy truck badge bundle. Starting off with the basic Chevrolet badge off the hood of a 50s era truck. Kind of faded chrome, great patina looking piece, not broken, not chipped, still nice and flat, mounting studs on the back. Just your kind of your basic run-of-the-mill Chevrolet badge, but with it being pretty flat, slight bow to it, but not bad. You can kind of do about anything with this badge, and it's going to look cool. Piece number 2, this is a horn button for a Chevrolet truck, 50s era. Nice and round. Actually, let me give you a dimension on this emblem. I forgot to give you a dimension on this one. 9 inches on this one by 1.5 inches. So 9 by 1.5 inches tall on this. This Chevrolet horn button off of about a 56 truck. This is also pretty flat and fairly thin, so you can do some cool decorator type stuff with this as well. This cap is 3 1/4 wide. The back is a little bit narrower because of where it snaps in to the steering wheel, but it is also fairly flat. It does not stick out real far, about 1 1/4 inches wide. John, we should do a show and tell about our projects and see what everybody's working on. We could do that. We absolutely could do that. That's a great idea. Start doing some reader projects and talk about what some of the stuff they've got going on. Great idea. In fact, the Highlander sent me a text today about some stuff on his project. But if you're on Highlander, go ahead and give me a shout tomorrow so we can go over the details of exactly what you want on those lights, because there's a lot of different ones. The last badge in this Chevrolet truck badge bundle is off of a C60. Kind of a cool looking bundle off of about a 66 big truck. This piece is 5 inches by about 2 3/4. Alec is in at 20 on this one. Thanks, Highlander. That'll be perfect. And that's a perfect reason why the texts are so difficult, Highlander. I think you wanted clearance lights, but there's so ungodly many different ones that getting some more information from you so I know what we're talking about will be perfect. So thanks, Highlander. Appreciate that. Okay, Chevy badge bundle. Lots of bids coming in here. A couple on both formats, all 3 pieces. My high bidder out of all of these is Pete at 40 on the 3 pieces, all for one. The C60 badge, the mounting studs are broken on it. I want everybody to see that these studs are broken. This does mount fairly flat, though, so you could do a lot with it as far as the way you mounted it. Original paint just faded, the 60 from the C60 on there. Norma at 50 on the Chevrolet badge bundle. I'm going to get this thing on the timer and get my notes made here so we can keep moving along here. We are live. Norma at 50 is my high bidder. Lee is in at 60. As we're coming up on the 30-second point, I'm trying to keep my notes straight. I don't want to mess any of this stuff up and ship the wrong stuff to the wrong person. So 30 seconds has passed. Zach is in at 70 on the Chevrolet badge bundle. You know, when I put these bundles together, I probably better make sure it's stuff I can actually hold up and show you guys at the same time. So while we're rolling along here, Zach at 70, all three pieces, one money. As we come up on the 1 minute mark. Zach at 70 is my high bidder. 1 minute has now passed as we're ticking along on the Chevrolet badge bundle. No scams. My wife's confused on why it's taking me 12 minutes to get a bottle of barbecue. Just been standing here. So No Scams is standing in Price Chopper in front of the barbecue sauce, watching us. I'm glad you're hanging out with us, No Scams. Zach at 70 on the Chevrolet badge bundle. Coming up on the minute 30 mark. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We are getting towards the end of this thing. Please remember your delay. Zach at 70. And 20 seconds left. Zach at 70 on the Chevrolet badge bundle. 15. Zach at 70 is my high bidder. We're down to 10 seconds on this. Coming down to the wire. I've got 5. I've got Zach at 70. Pete's at 96. And that will do it. Pete at 96 on the Chevrolet badge bundle. Alec came in at 75 right there at the end as well, but Pete at 96 was our high bidder on the Chevy badge bundle. That one just about got real interesting right there at the end again. How about another can from Friday night's video? This one is in really great shape. It's another ag can, but there again, these things have been in that barn for decades, and the condition is great. So I hope you guys like this one too. This is a co-op. Zach says, "Nice snipe." Yeah, that was. I see. Pete and Alec were both gunning. Pete and Alec were actually both gunning for you on that one, Zach. So, Josh, looking for 54, 5, or 6 Buick steering column. Depends on which one you need, Josh. Just have to give me a call tomorrow on that one. Let's see. I missed a few comments there. Let me go back here real quick. Tweedledee, if you get shipped wrong, I'll send it to him. I appreciate that. And that's what's great about all you guys, the support and the brotherhood that we've got on here. We don't have a lot of attitudes. We don't have a lot of egos. Everybody's hanging out here, having a good time. That's what matters. So let's see. Hopefully No Scams found some barbecue sauce. Let's get on to another can from the fresh barn find load from the other night on Friday night's video. This is the Co-op Dairy and Stock Spray. Condition on this thing is amazing. Josh says he's been here since about day 2. Awesome. Glad you've been here that long. Tim, do you sell complete trucks? Yes, I'm actually dual licensed in the state of Kansas, salvage and used vehicle. I can sell everything from a door handle, and we sell all the way up to restored cars. So Dad and I actually have some like restored cars in stock. Dad's got some restored stuff for sale. I've got some decent stuff for sale. So we do everything from door handles up to fully restored cars. And then obviously run a lot of stuff through the Ebony Collector Auto Auction here coming up October 1st. No Scams over to the chips and salsa section. Let's see. That is a clean can. Was that the one on the box? I don't know for sure, David W. It is a 1 gallon can, obviously. Yeah, or not obviously, yeah, it is a 1 gallon can. Zach says it cleaned up great. Yeah, it's a cool can. That's right. Jason says Jason's getting a little thirsty over there. Better throw that one up. And we'll throw this one up just for good measure as well. But it did clean up great. Both sides. This one's got a little scuff up here. Top of this can has surface rust like the other one did. It does have bright colors. Leah started us off at 20 on this one. So we needed to throw that out there. Instructions on both sides. Number one's going to get more beer if anybody needs one. instructions right here. Charles is in at 25. So here we go. NCA price of $3.65 originally. Do you take trades? Yes, I take trade-ins, Tim. Trade-ins are not a problem. Just give me a shout. Let me know. See what you need. See what you've got. But yes, I do take trade-ins as well. So anyway, Charles at 25 on the co-op can. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off on the timer. No scam says he can pick up all the beer we need at the store while he's there. So, Eric Howdy says, how do you clean your cans? This stuff out of this barn, since all it was just really thick, heavy dust and dirt, I just washed these with soap and water is all I did to these. They've just been in that barn for decades, out of the sunlight, out of the weather. That's what preserved them. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. I've got Charles at 25. Josh, I feel like this is a great question. How to find classic car junkyards in your particular area? They're getting so few and far between. I don't know. Just Google search, Facebook, things like that. Craigslist, stuff like that, Josh, is probably just the basic typical ways is to start looking. And so it's safe for dairy cows and stock animals or safe to go in the dairy. Let's see. It says actually use and directions for application. Application to lactating and non-lactating dairy cattle and beef cattle. Use power sprayer, continuous hand sprayer that assures good coverage. For best results, use a fine mist sprayer. Will not blister or burn hide nor gum the hair when used as directed. So this was for the animal. For best results, spray the animal from the belly upwards and from the back to the front. So this was for the animal on here. Charles at 25, as we hit the 1 minute mark. On the back side of this one, like I said, a few scuffs and scratches. I mean, you can just see the light pop off of this thing as it catches the lights out of the office, the shine on this can. So Charles at 25 on the co-op can. It is double-sided with the co-op red and blue logo on both sides. Lee at 30. 1 minute, almost to the minute 30 part. I've got Lee at 30 right now. 1 minute 30 seconds has passed on the co-op can. Please be thinking about your max bid as we get down to the back side of this thing. Lee at 30. 20 seconds left. Lee at 30 on the co-op dairy and stock spray. Lee at 30, 10 seconds left. Charles at 35. I've got 10 seconds left on this one. Charles is at 35. Down to 5. Just about ready to wind this one up. And that will do it. Charles at 35 on the co-op can. Cool piece. Excited about that one too. Zach on Facebook, Josh, where are you located? See if he has any ideas. So I don't know where you're located at, Josh, as far as trying to find salvage yards. Randy had another idea. Check with your local car clubs. Josh says, I'm such a newbie, he doesn't even know what about local car clubs. Watch for Cars and Coffees. Watch for local car shows, things like that, Josh. That's another great way to get involved and get more information about the hobby from your local guys. Ooh, look at that. Double shot. All right, I got a super cool piece. Let's go ahead and do this other piece. I did one of these several months ago, and then I found another one. And the first one got pretty interesting, so we'll see what happens with this one. This is kind of rough. Tin sign. The paint is pretty tough on it. Look at that. But for Friday's video, will the final can in the box be auctioned up? No, the final can that's in box, that's mine. I'm going to keep that, bud. That thing was so awesome. You saw that the first time I saw it. When I pulled it out of the box, that was the first time I saw it. I seen it was a standard box. I grabbed it, threw it in my pile. I did not pull that can out until I did it on when you guys saw it. So Little tin sign. Like I said, we did these a while back, and I thought I had more, and I just stumbled across another one just as that final was amazing. Yep. So let's sell another one. It's been a few months back, but this is a cool thing. It is embossed, and we're going to sell this one too. So we'll see what you guys think of it. This is the dependable Delco light used here, embossed tin sign. Not a bread sign, Tweedly Dee. Dependable Delco light used here. This is an old sign. It is a little rough. It's got a lot of nail holes in it. Obviously, a lot of the paint is gone. It is embossed. We flip around the back. You can see the embossing in the metal. Let's get you some dimensions on this thing. About 19.5 by 9. So it's about 19.5 here. It's about 9 inches tall. So anyway, embossed early Delco light used here. Yeah, that's right. Alec got the last one. So I got another one. If anybody's going to jump on it, I don't know. Oh, Alec's going to start us off anyway. He'll take this one too at 15. So I've got Alec at 15. This thing is embossed, fills in at 30. Like I said, it's got nails holes, but you can see across the back where all this is actually stamped in the metal. Number one says trans tunnel cover material. No scams. $23 and 30 minutes later. Should have been done in 10 minutes, except he got stuck watching us instead of shopping. Jason's at 40 on the dependable Delco light used here. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. Josh, I've loved classic cars my whole life. Bought a 56 Buick, wanting to get into the hobby and can't find any good junkyards. He's in Lexington, Kentucky is where Josh is at. Phil at 50. I've got Phil at 50. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We are live on the timer, ticking away on the dependable Delco light sign. You know how to bring the patina out, clear it, says Big Job. This is a cool piece, even though it's rough. It is an actual, I don't know, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, probably 70 or 80-year-old. You say 50 years old, 70s. It's definitely earlier than 70s on this Delco light. I've got Phil at 50. 30 seconds has passed on the Delco light sign. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Is Phil going to get a great deal on this, or are there going to be some snipers? Jason says he uses matte clear on something like this. So 45 seconds passed, working up towards that 1 minute mark. We'll see what happens. The last one got pretty interesting towards the end. We'll see if Phil's going to walk away with this one at 50, or if we're going to have some snipers here at the end on this Delco light. There were some bids thrown out there right away. Now everybody's kind of sitting on their keyboards, ready to go here. 1 minute has now passed as we're ticking along on the Delco light. Randy says Scott's liquid gold works well on old signage. Sweetly, it says snipers are sleeping. Yep. It's a cool piece. Phil may walk away with this one, but you never know. There may be some snipers out there. As we're coming up on the minute 30 mark, please remember this is down towards the wire. A minute 30 has passed. Be thinking about your max bids as we come down to the wire on this one. I've got Phil at 50. 20 seconds. 20 seconds left. Keep an eye out for snipers. Watching both formats, I've got Phil at 50. 15 seconds. Lee at 55. 10 seconds. Just about down to the wire. 5 seconds. I've got Lee at 55. Phil at 60 right at the wire. Whoa. That was like 159 and 9 or 200. Alec came in at 55. Lee was at 55. Phil hit it at 60 at the very last second. Lee was in, then I got Phil, then time ran out, then Alec came in at 55. So I had Phil at 60 on the Delco light. All right. We haven't done any Ford badges tonight. Ooh, I got a cool hood. I got a hood ornament to do tonight too. We got a cool hood ornament coming up. But let's get a Ford bundle. One, we haven't done any other badge bundle since the Chevy, and we need to do some Fords. So, let's see. Tweet the D says repainting. Somebody says about repainting. A lot of people say repainting would hurt it. Yeah, and I would agree with that. Bill Wagaman says wouldn't touch the Delco sign, preserve the history. That's true too. Let's do a Ford badge bundle. Ford badge bundle. Ford badge bundle. Ford badge bundle. Say that real quick. 3 pieces in this Ford badge bundle, a mixture of car and truck as well on this particular Ford badge bundle. Starting off with an overdrive. This is like 52, 53, 54 overdrive, I think, off the trunk. It is 8.5 by about 1.5 inches. Nice chrome, some pitting, pretty flat mount. It's got a slight bow to it, but it's basically a flat mount emblem, stud mount, good condition on the back as well. On the overdrive, on the first emblem of the Ford badge bundle. Next set, there's actually a set in here. These are hood letters off of a 60s era Ford truck. A full set. And what's cool about these, they are flat mount. You can kind of do a lot with these. Toolbox type stuff, bar. These are flat mount stud letters for Ford, off of a Ford truck, 60s, 70s era. Another problem. I get all this stuff drug out and I can't hold it all up. But there's the Ford letters for off the front of the hood of a Ford truck. These are all in pretty good condition. I'll hold them up one at a time. They are flat mount, studs on the back, nice chrome. Let everybody get a good look at this set of hood letters on the Ford badge bundle. And the third piece in the Ford badge bundle, we're going with a little Falcon badge. Actually, it's kind of a big Falcon badge. A big gold Falcon like off the fender of early 60s era Falcon. This has a few dings and dents in it. The gold still has decent color on it. This thing is 14 inches long. It is pretty much flat mount too. It's got a slight bow to it, but I think it's actually supposed to be a flat mount piece. Has good color. You can still see the I guess feathers technically on the Falcon. Still see the head of the Falcon. Like I said, it has some dings and dents and scrapes in this one. Stud mount still on the back. I had it marked 62 Falcon, I guess. And yes, it is a 62 part number, C2. So it is a 62 part number. So it's a 62, maybe 63 as well. So there's the 3 pieces on the Ford badge bundle, the overdrive, the Falcon, and the full set of flat mount Ford hood letters that you can kind of put about anywhere if you're a Ford fan. So got some bids coming in already. Rusty at 25 is my high bidder. I had 8, then I had 10. Now I've got Rusty at 25 on the Ford badge bundle. And we are live on the timer. Rusty at 25 is my high bidder on the Ford badge bundle. Hudson badge. John's getting thirsty. We better throw that up there. Double shot with the Auburn badge. "30 seconds has passed. I've got Rusty at 25 on the Ford badge bundle. I don't know how I can hold all these up, but there they are. Without dropping anything. Rusty at 25 on the Ford bundle. As we're getting about towards the 1 minute point, not quite there yet. So actually 3 badges, but 6 pieces counting all the hood letters coming on this, but 3 badges. And 1 minute has now passed. John says, hit the like button. Appreciate that. 1 minute has now passed. We're on the back side of this one. I've got Rusty at 25 on the Ford badge bundle. And we're coming up on that minute 30 point. Rusty at 25, still holding the top bid. I don't know if he's going to walk this one out of here or get sniped. Lots of Ford acronyms coming in. Fix, repair daily, first on race day. I've heard all those before. They're always funny. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We're on the backside of this. Please remember, by the time you see this point, we will be just about be done. Be thinking about those max bids if you're going to slide one in. As we get down to the wire, 20 seconds left on the Ford badge bundle. Rusty may sneak this one out here at 25. 15 seconds. Big Job's in at 50. 10 seconds. Big Job at 55 seconds. And Big Job snuck that one in right there at the end. So there we go. More pieces for Big Job's Ford collection. That's right. John says those went the right guy. I mean, the guy with a name with a username like Big Job, it's kind of obvious that he would be in there for Ford stuff. So. There's Highlander. It just came in. So you had a heck of a delay, Highlander. Highlander came in at 40 there too. So Highlander was out there. I knew Highlander's. There he came back at 52. So Highlander was in there trying, but Highlander must have a heck of a delay tonight. Nope, no easy rider, Sam. Highlander says congrats, appreciate that, Highlander. Yeah, you must be fighting a heck of a delay tonight because that stuff was no, Highlander was 30 seconds back. One thing we haven't done tonight is a regular oil can. We've done a few of these of this type in the past. I love these cans, but polish it up a little bit. It's a little bit crusty. We haven't done any regular quart oil cans tonight. This is a new can. It is full. As always, I will drain it before we ship it. I know a few of you guys have gotten similar ones to these. We've done a few of these in different variations, but I've always thought this was an awesome looking can. So we'll go ahead and do one of these because we haven't done any regular quart cans tonight. This one is the Champlain LPG Liquefied Petroleum Gas quart can. Beautiful can, great colors, great condition, ribbed can. I know a few of you guys already have these because we've sold a few of them. I think we did one other LPG can several months ago, but we've sold some of these Champlains, but they're different variations as well. Great graphics on this. I don't know, kind of the Star Trek looking symbol in the background. Great colors, obviously not punched on the top. I will drain this from the bottom like I typically do. Champlain Petroleum Company, Enid, Oklahoma. On this Champlain can. This is an improved Champlain can. The the ribbing on this can is all stamped into the metal. So yeah, Zach's out there, live long and prosper. That's the only thing it reminded me of was a Star Trek thing. So anyway, Johnson's can I leave the oil in it? The problem we get into, I've offered to do that in the past if the buyer's willing to pay shipping on them, but the post office they don't like anybody doing that because they actually ask you if anything you're shipping is liquid or flammable, and this is pretty much liquid and flammable. So if you want me to leave the oil in it, you'd have to call me. We'd figure out how to do it. And that might be a possibility. I'm trying not to leave the oil in them just because of the postal regulations, because I put it in a box and they said, you have anything liquid or flammable? I tell them no. They pick up the box and they hear that when they grab it and throw it on the scale. So That's why I'm kind of a little, iffy about doing that. So there's a possibility, John, but we'd have to figure that out. That's right. Big Job says looks like a soup can. It kind of does. Let's see. Got some bids on this one. And as of right now, Zach at 30 is high. So I've got Zach at 30. Angelo just came in at 30, but I already had Zach at 30 on this one as well. So we'll start this. Zach at 30 as we get this ready to go on the timer. And here we go. We are live. Zach at 30 is our high bidder on Facebook. Ticking down on this one. Get my notes made here. And moving along on this one, I've got Zach at 30. I had Angela at 30 also, but I had Zach first on Facebook. So 30 seconds has passed. We're running towards that 2-minute mark. SAE 2020 HD is what this says on the top. That's right, number one. Kind of does look like a Ford vacuum canister, just with some fancy paint on it. Slide in a Hudson badge for you guys that are out there having a cold beverage. Tim, is there a year on the can? I did not see one, but let's look a little bit closer and double check. 1 minute has now passed. I do not see a year on it. However, something else I do not see, Tim, is a barcode. I do not see any barcode on this can. I don't see a year, but I don't see a barcode on it anywhere either. Alec at 35. It is metal. Tweedly, you are correct. This is an all-metal can. Alec at 35. We're just about to that minute 30 point. I've got Alec at 35 on Facebook. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. Please be thinking about your max bid. By the time you see this, we will just about be done with your delay. Alec at 35. John says pre-70s. 20 seconds left. Tim, it is definitely a clean can. Alec at 35. 15 seconds left on this one. Alec at 35. We're down to 10. Zach at 36. Pete at 44. 5 seconds left. I've got Pete at 44. And that does it. Pete at 44. And then Tweedledee came in at 45 at 203. So I got Pete in at 44 on the Champlain can. Who wants to do something that's a little bit better? That's going to, who wants to do a hood ornament? Now, hood ornament's going to have to bring a little bit of money. I'll tell you that right up front. But if anybody's interested, we can sure throw a hood ornament up here as we get ready to wrap up. We'll catch a couple more things yet tonight. Or we can finish up with the hood ornament. We can always, hey, yes, Ryan and Amy just, yes, let's get after it. Yeah, Tweedledee tried to snipe it. Yep, you were close. That's for sure. It was it popped up as I hit end, and it was 2:03 on the timer when I hit end. So, no Scams is ready for Mopar. We'll do, what do we want to do? Let's see. Oh, it's laying right here. I had one piece laid out here. I got one more emblem we're going to do, and then we're going to do a super cool hood ornament. Okay? Let's do that. This is a great piece. I had to think about whether I was going to sell this or not. But it is cool. I do really dig it. And let's go ahead and throw this one up here. Alec is ready. How about a Cadillac badge? A Cadillac crest. This has a V with it also. The V is missing a stud. I don't know if this V was with this crest or what. It was laying with it on the shelf. So this V is going to come with it. I don't know if it's correct with this badge or not. We're going to do this now. Then we're going to do a super cool hood ornament. What's a fair reserve for hood ornament? Depends on a hood ornament. You know, they're all different. But you know, this is a little better piece. So, and I'm sure we're going to sell it. I mean, I can't. The way you guys get excited about it, I'm not going to be crazy on it. So, but anyway, Cadillac Crest and the Cadillac V is what we're going to do right now. This is a late 60s era. I had it marked something. I can make out kind of the 6, but I can't make out the rest of it. But this Cadillac Crest is not all chipped up. It has great colors. It is V'd. It is not a perfectly flat mount. It is a stud mount, guide stud with a threaded stud on the back. All of the little umlauts or whatever you want to call them are on the top of this thing. Cool piece. Dimensions on this. Alec is at 25 already. This is about 2 inches by about 1 3/4 inches. It's about 2 inches out to these tips. It's about 1 3/4 inches across the center. The V is about 5.5 tip to tip across the wide part. So Alec is starting us off at 25 on the Cadillac Crest and V. So cool piece. Let me start on my notes here. And get this thing kicked off. I've got Alec at 25 on the Cadillac Crest. And we are live. We're ticking along on our 2 minutes on the Cadillac Crest. Alec at 25. David says 1950. Now this is late 60s. I marked this when I took it off, and I think this was a 6, but I don't know if this is a 7 or a 9 or something like that. But this is definitely 60s. It may be mid 60s even. I don't know. I tried to write on it with a marker. It kind of blurred. So I'm sure this is mid to late 60s, and it may have fit. They may have used it for a couple of years in that window, but it's definitely 60s. Alec at 25 is my high bidder, and the only bidder actually. Who knows? Maybe he's not. Maybe we don't have a lot of Cadillac fans. But Alec is our guy right now at 25. As we actually come up on the 1 minute mark, I don't know if anybody's sitting there ready to snipe or if Alec's going to walk out of here with this one because we're just about to 1 minute. Well, Zach's out there playing along. Zach's going to go 27 as we hit the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. We are on the backside of this thing. When we get to 1:30, I will tell you that as well. And please remember, when I tell you 1:30 means we are probably just about done. Lee's in at 30. It's a cool piece. Great colors. Like I said, I debated as to whether or not I was even going to sell this thing. Tweety D says snipers. Yeah, they're probably waiting. Zach's in at 31. John says, I'm not fancy enough for Cadillac. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed, which means by the time you see this, would you be just about done? Zach at 31 on the Cadillac Crest. Zach at 31 on Facebook. 20 seconds left. Jason's at 40. 15 seconds to go. Jason at 40 on the Cadillac Crest. Tweety D came at 35. Already had Jason at 40. 10 seconds to go. I've got Jason at 40. Tweety D at 41. Zach at 41. And Tweety D at 41. I had Tweety D pop up here. Then I had Zach pop up here. Then I had Jason pop up at 42. I had Tweety D at 41. So that one got real interesting right there at the end. And that was all within the last few seconds. Angelo says, this is amazing. Well, I'm glad you're having fun, Angelo. All right, one more piece. Hood ornament. Cool hood ornament. Big hood. Not huge, but good size hood ornament. But a great piece. A little bit of a background on this piece. This thing hasn't seen daylight in years. When I bought the new yard on the north side of me, where all that stuff's overgrown and kind of a mess. Zach says, nice win, Tweedly D. So everybody else on there was perfect. Thanks. That's what's awesome. you guys can congratulate each other even when somebody snipes you. That's what's awesome about this group, and that's why this group is so amazing. And what you guys have created here is so awesome. I'm polishing this up a little bit just to make that chrome shine. But when I bought that new yard, there is a shop with it as well, and it's a mess. It is a disaster. I've made a little bit of progress in there, but not a lot. Oh, I got a sneak shot there. And I found this I found a box in that building that had been packaged up and shipped, but I don't know if it got shipped back or maybe it didn't get shipped. I don't know. Maybe it just got lost. So I unboxed I opened the box up, and this is what I found. Zach says sniping makes it fun. That's right. So this has been in a box in the building that came on the new yard for who knows how long, probably 20 years. And I opened it up, dumped it out, pulled out the paper, and this is what I found. Angelo says, sell some taillights. So this has a few pits in it. It's not perfect by any means. Obviously Dodge. I think car. Old School says it looks like a weapon. Actually, with the weight of this thing up here, no scams. I got John and no scams both right out of the gate at 50. If you held this thing back here with the weight that's up here and swung this thing, it could qualify as a weapon because there's a lot of pop metal up here. Tweedly D at 60. So we're moving right along on this thing. Bottom side of this thing looks great. Like I said, it's been off the car in that box for who knows how long. Zach at 75. Old School's at 80. So we're right about there. I mean, we're getting really close to where it needs to be. So I think let's just go ahead and sell it. Charles is at 80. Let's go ahead and sell it. I figured it had to bring at least 100. We've got 80. Charles is at 90, so we're already about there. But the bare minimum, I figured it had to bring at least worth $100. You can see the head right there. This is like ready to ram somebody. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody's at 90. Holy cow, I got lots of 90s. So, no breaks, no chips in it. Like I said, a little bit of pitting up in here. Obviously, bright chrome. The ram's head looks great. No scams is at 110. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. Obviously, it's a very popular piece. Charles at 120. And we are live. We are on the timer. I've got Charles at 120. That's right, David W. It is 3D. Good thing you weren't wearing 3D glasses. Some of you guys may have been shaking your head or trying to avoid it. That's right, Zach. You dodge it or you ram it. We are live on the timer. I've got Charles at 120. And Jason said the same thing. If you can't dodge it, ram it. But it is a cool piece. I love these things, but I do have some other ram hood ornaments. So this one, I want, one of you guys to end up with it. Old School says he'll gladly take the hit. Let me give you some dimensions on this thing real quick. Charles at 120 is my high bidder. If I measure this not following the curve, straight across here like this, it is 19 inches. So, not taking it into account the curve, we are 19 inches right there. 1 minute has now passed. I've got Charles at 120 on the Dodge Ram hood ornament. I think this was car. I don't think this was truck. I think this was off the car, but car used them as well. With the length of the band under the hood, it looks like 1940, says number one. But it's a cool piece. Number one says 40. I'd say it's something in the 40s. It may even be later 40s because they think they use these on cars. Even, 46, 47, 48. 20 seconds left. We're past the minute 30. 20 seconds left. I've got Charles at 120. 15 seconds. 10. Charles at 120 is my high bidder. Tweedledee at 122. And that does it. Tweedledee at 122. Charles just missed it at 135. Highlander was at 130. That one, Tweedledee was my last one when I hit 2 minutes. I had Charles at about 203 and Highlander at about 208. So Alec at 125. So that was the Tweedledee at 122 was the last one I had at 2 minutes, unfortunately for everybody else, because that one got kind of interesting at the end. Well, that's right, John. Now it's actually going to get shipped. That's true. That's right. Zach says, nice snipe, Tweedledee. That was a close one. That was a close one. There was 3 of them. Well, like I said, Tweedledee, and then 3 more within the next 8 seconds right after that. So that was super close. All right. Thanks, guys. That was a blast. This is so much fun. We've got such an awesome group on here. And I super appreciate everybody playing along and being good sports and having a lot of fun. So, all right, let's keep moving on. How about time for some magazine? James is going to bail off. Glad you were here. Thanks to everybody for playing. Had an awesome time. How about it, Hudson Badge? And keep on moving through the chat. And here we go. Time for the night's magazine. Like I mentioned earlier, November 1971 of Motor Trend. Tweety says he's been looking for a Ram for a while. David W. Any LaSalles? Do not have any LaSalles at all. So tonight's magazine, Motor Trend, actually Motor Trend combined with Sports Car Graphic. So that must have been in a kind of a merging period for those two. From November of 1971, on the cover of the Turbine Hornet. Sounds interesting. Cover price of this issue in November of 71. Zach says, great auction tonight. I have an early day, so he's going to bail out as well. Glad you were here. Appreciate you guys that do jump on Facebook as well and play along over there. So, Alec, Zach, I know you guys are on there all the time. A few of your other regulars. Appreciate you being there on Facebook as well and hanging out. So, John, anybody Pontiac Chief Hood ornaments? I don't know if I've got any extra Pontiac Chief Hood ornaments or not. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled. Highlander's going to bail off tonight too, so glad you guys were here for a while. And we'll go ahead and keep rolling with the magazine for tonight. Cover price on this one of 75 cents in November of 71. Zach's on YouTube as well. So, as always, when we start off with Motor Trend, we've always got either the Detroit report or the International report. Sometimes they split it. They had Detroit and then International. Sometimes they just roll it all into one and just had one International report. That's what they were doing at this point in 71 with the International report. Tons of stuff in here. We're just going to catch a few tidbits of the International report. 2 full pages here, plus there was a couple of other pages as well. But some of the stuff that they were talking about in there, again, what's great about looking at the International and or Detroit report is sometimes these have we can look back with 20/20 hindsight and see whether it actually came true or not. Angela's going to jump off. Appreciate you being here. So, but one thing that was interesting in the International report for the USA, fuel injection is no longer a sure thing at General Motors. A year ago, GM officials said electronic fuel injection was a part of their engine package for meeting the mid-decade air pollution control standards. Now, some senior executives say fuel injection isn't proving to be so major an improvement over carburetors as had been expected. That is, they don't produce the improvement that They don't produce the improvement hoped for in emissions reduction. Thus, they don't see the reason for a more expensive system. With fuel injection, said Chevy's John DeLorean, we haven't seen that much of an improvement in hydrocarbon and carbon monoxide reductions. Olds boss John Belts said fuel injection does not look as likely as it did a year ago. Meanwhile, over at Ford, the fuel injection research engine looks to be the most likely candidate in the 75-76 emissions control election. So, there again, we didn't see it regularly, until we started seeing it by the late 70s, and this was, remember, in November of 71. So we got to kind of put it into perspective. Rusty Nails made it here. So that's some of the stuff that's cool to look back at, what they were looking at in 71 with fuel injection versus when we finally, kind of got to see it. So, like I said, there's so much stuff in here that we're just going to catch a little bit of stuff. A couple of interesting things. Remember, November of 71, we were coming up on not only the emissions issues, but the crash ratings, the bumper changes, the redesigns for more safety standards. So, in fact, General Motors officials predict their new crash restraint bumpers will provide a strong selling point during the 72 model year. They plan to feature the bumpers in print advertising and TV commercials. Competitors feel GM spent a lot of money for the one-shot advantage because everyone will have to have the new and better system for 73. This is when all firms must have bumpers capable of withstanding a 5-mile-per-hour crash into a barrier or a 10-mile-per-hour into a parked car without damage. GM's system on its 72 full-size cars offers protection in 2.5-mile-per-hour barrier crashes or 5-mile-per-hour into another car. Buick also says its system will protect certain safety-related parts of a car in a 5-mile-per-hour barrier crash. This would technically meet the federal standard for 1973, but the auto firms are designing the systems so that bumpers and sheet metal parts escape damage as well. Ford, Chrysler, and American Motors all claim to have beefed up their bumpers in 72, but none claims the level of performance that GM is reporting. David W., what was the last mass-produced carbureted vehicle? That I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. However, along with the new federally mandated crash standards they were looking at for 73, the next box in the international report for the USA, number one, I'd rather have safety bumpers than plastic bubble, no bumpers they have now. Yeah. Insurance companies are considering rate reductions to people who buy the 1972 GM cars with the new crash-resistant front bumpers. The Automobile Club of Michigan says about 1/4 of a group of cars surveyed had been damaged in a 3-mile-an-hour or less impact speeds. If that is the case and you have a bumper which will protect a car in a 5-mile-per-hour crash, then you have a real chance for saving. Club General Manager Ed Daniels said, we are looking into the possibility of a rate reduction. We think this is a great development. So, there again, some of the different things that they were dealing with in 1971 that, we look back on now as to how that happened. And one last bit of the Detroit, well, I call it the Detroit report, was technically the international report for the U.S. Ralph Nader, shockingly, has a new list of auto safety defects. Nader sent the federal safety officials a 25-page letter summarizing what he said were 13 auto safety defects, which are potentially affecting millions of cars. The feds deny they've been negligent in investigating potential defects. Little blurb right there at the end where Ralph Nader is still trying to stir stuff up in 1971 about telling the government what they are missing in defects in automobiles of that time period. So, anyway, like I said, so much cool stuff, and there's no way to catch it all, but I want to keep moving. But I always want to hit a few highlights out of the Detroit report because it's always looking back with 2020 hindsight as to whether or not that stuff actually happened. Did it come true? Did it work out? How did things go? Jason says he's going to release that wild turkey back in the wild. Big Job says those bumpers are like having a park bench to sit on. Yeah. Now, the next article we're going to catch, and this is a big article. There's no way to get in all of it. Pete, was Nader just a journalist? I think it was a pain in the butt is what it amounted to for everybody. Scott says, and that old man is still around. Yeah, I think he is still alive, actually. David W., how did the Pinto get past Nader? That's a good question. But the next article we're going to check out, like I said, this is big. There's no way to get into all of it, but it's going to be on the cover car of a turbine Hornet. Now, the turbine Hornet was not an AMC product. They put it into a Hornet, but this was actually, they actually had plans to sell this car. It was going to be in production, but it was built by Williams Research. They actually gave this journalist the keys and said, go drive it. And he said, inside it looked pretty normal. Had some different gauges, some different lights. Otherwise, it was a normal looking car inside. Column shift control for the automatic. You said turbine powered on the dash and had some different controls and switches. Now, obviously, we know today that it's still, the technology is still there, but it's still not a mass produced normal, regular mode of transportation. Now we do get a good shot. I'll hold this up here for a second of the turbine engine in the Hornet while they're working on it. Like this thing goes on for several pages, but what it does have some pretty cool pictures in here on this next page that I'll hold up for a few seconds so you guys can check them out and see, kind of what it looked like. David says it sounded like the Batmobile. Yep. But like I said, this article is 5, 6, 7 pages. There's no way to get into all of it. However, this does give us some pretty cool graphics on the turbine engine. I'll hold this up for a second, let you guys study it. Let me make sure you guys can see it on Facebook as well. Of how these things work. You'd have to take some time to sit there and study it, but obviously, this technology had been out there. Chrysler made the turbine cars. What, they make 100 of them or something. They had the dignitaries. There's a few of them out there still floating around, a couple of them in private hands, including Jay Leno's. But, overall, technology never really was ever grasped by the general public. However, in November of 1971, this company, the Williams turbine, they were planning on putting this into production. This was in an AMC Hornet in this one. Dennis on YouTube says Nader is still around and he is 88 years old. So Scott was right. He is around. He's 88. So the Williams turbine, obviously, we got a little better color shot on the cover in a Hornet. Obviously, to this day, not normal technology or not mainstream technology by any means, but they were still playing with it then. They're still playing with it now, I'm sure. Hudson badge. Next article, the intermediates, the Montego, the Monte Carlo, the Charger, and the Cutlass. Kind of a comparison type road test on all 4 of them. There again, not any color in this magazine. Even in 1971, still black and white. Obviously a good-looking Charger and a good-looking early Monte Carlo there. Here's the shots of the Cutlass that they had. Kind of the same type of pictures on each vehicle. And then wrapping up with the Montego. Now, I don't know why they chose the Montego, the Cutlass, the Monte Carlo, and the Charger off of all the other intermediates, but that's what they did. They actually had some specifications. They actually did full road tests on these and had a lot of information. So if you were shopping for an intermediate in that era, they had a lot of good details and specifics in here. Specifications, performance, things like that. So if you were car shopping in 1971, this was actually very important information for a lot of these cars. None of them were rocket ships. All the quarter mile times were in the 70s, or the 17s, excuse me, 17.1 to 18.4 for the Cutlass. 0 to 60 times were, well, the Montego was 9.5. Everything else was over 11 seconds, 0 to 60. So none of these things were barn burners back in the day. But there again, if you were new car shopping, it was good information. The next article was kind of interesting. And there again, this is what's awesome about looking back in time at these old magazines. What did or didn't happen? What did or didn't change? Some things sailed right through, and we know them today as legendary cars. Some of these little things changed or became obscure or never happened, or in this instance, got named something completely different. So, obviously, we know the popularity of the Nova, and then we know that everybody else wanted one. Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac all wanted a Nova-based car. So we're familiar with that. We know that, obviously the Chevy Nova was pretty common, and we know that Buick had an Apollo, and Pontiac had a Ventura, and Oldsmobile had the F80. Nope, I thought it was an Omega. However, it was an Omega eventually. In November of 1971, it was the Oldsmobile F80. John says he thinks the Vega was the top-selling car in 70 or 71. Bill says they were all boats, yeah. Big Job says, let's all chip in and send Nate or a Corvair for a lawn ornament. There you go. But yeah, this was the Oldsmobile, the Nova-branded Oldsmobile. These were obviously the earlier renderings of them. The early S61 F85 there. But Olds F80 was the title of this article talking about the new up-and-coming Nova platform-based Oldsmobile intermediate car. And they called it the Olds F80. That's right, Pete. I didn't know that either. It was always the Olds Omega. But initially, apparently, they had planned on calling it the F80. So, but there again, that's what's awesome about this Hudson badge. See, I don't know if I've still got some of you guys on Facebook or not. I haven't gotten any comments in a few minutes. I don't want to miss anybody on there. So just wanting to double check and make sure you guys are still hanging in there with us. So. Another kind of interesting article that Tweedly never heard of. I'd never heard of it either because I was just known it as the Omega, but apparently initially it was called the F80. An article on the Auto Expo. Now, obviously, we're all familiar with new car shows. They have had them for years. They have them all over the country. This was the Auto Expo Mexico, 1971. I actually did sneak a couple of color pictures in on this one. Yep, Alec, they're still there. Great. Glad you guys are still hanging in there. So thanks, Alec. Appreciate you letting me know. With Facebook, I wonder sometimes. It's been okay, but I still wonder sometimes with Facebook. So appreciate that, Alec. The Mexican Auto Expo 1971. So color pictures of some of these cool cars. Pete, so they produced the F80. It was the Omega. That was literally talking about the Nova platform-based Oldsmobile. It was just initially called the F80, so I'm sure that's when they changed it to Olds Omega. Rusty Nail says, I've heard of an M80. Yeah, I've heard of those. Yep, Scott, you guys are still there. Perfect. Thanks, Scott and Alec, for letting me know you're still there. Sometimes I just don't trust that Facebook feed. And a few more pictures of the Mexico 71 Auto Show here on the back. Like I said, it's weird that they use this orangish red background on a few color pictures for the Mexico Auto Show for so little of color that gets used in these magazines from this era. Alex says, looks like Delirium in the upper right page. Okay, I assume if this is what we're talking about, Alec, because Delirium is a show car that I'm not. Oh, DeLorean. DeLorean. No, because this is 71. So DeLorean was actually still with GM, I believe, in 71. Yeah, because they quoted him earlier in that one article. So yeah, these would have been. Let's see. This one here, this car here looks very similar to this. If you look really close here, this says Porsche on the front, I believe. So I think this is actually this, and it says Porsche. So I think this was some sort of a Porsche show car. But now, at a quick glance, Alec, I could definitely see where you would get that. That's for sure. Tony, but Pinto made great drag cars. Yep, they did. They were small and light. That's for sure. And one more article to catch, actually kind of a conglomeration of articles. Tweeted the F80 changed to Omega due to F in the Ford F Series. That may have had something to do with it as well, too. Never thought of that, but that could have been something as well with Ford, really pushing the F Series trucks at that time. But the last, that's right, it definitely looked like a DeLorean. It did it, especially from your guys' perspective, where you're trying to look at a magazine on the camera. So I can definitely see that. Trackside 71, some racing updates. A couple of cool pictures here that we definitely want to check out. And there's several pages of this of racing updates. We'll touch base on a few of them and definitely check out a few of these pictures, even though they're small. Allison survives Talladega. Javelin Spears Trans Am title. And look at these pictures. Right here, Petty, Allison, and Pete Hamilton peel paint right there on that picture. You guys can make that out, tight, sucking them in there pretty tight. The AMC Javelin in the Trans Am series. The rundown of Talladega in 71. Bobby Allison is the winner in a Mercury. Number 2, Richard Petty in a Plymouth. Bobby Hamilton in a Plymouth. Lorenzen in a Plymouth. Hilton in a Ford. Seifert in a Ford. Tarr in a Ford. Champion in a Ford. Keselowski in a Dodge. And Thomas in a Plymouth was the rundown of the top 10 of Talladega of 71. John, just looking at Hornets. Now I want one of those too. Forgot how cool the two-door was. Pete, speaking of drag racing, did your daughter beat any personal records in the TA during drag week? Actually, yeah, she broke out on the final day when they did the bracket race. That car's running in the 1390s, 1394, 1396. So we dialed a 1394, and she actually hit the brakes at the end, trying to slow it down because she was out there on the guy and still ran a 1390. So, yeah, it would have been well into the 1380s. The cars never ran that fast, but it was the wrong time to do it because she broke out. So, Rocks 89, late but jumped on from Colorado. Manufacturer standing in the Trans Am series. While we're talking about the Trans Am series here, kind of interesting. The Trans Am manufacturing standing series in 1971. Dodge was 79 points. Plymouth was 78 points. Mercury was 68 points. Ford with 21 points. And Chevy with 4 points. The next page in trackside of 71, the Southern 500 to Bobby Allison. Just like Talladega. Bobby Allison first, Richard Petty second, Baker third in a Petty Dodge. Few pictures on that one as well, but not a ton. Rusty Nails, do you have any GNXs? No, I wish I had a GNX. That would be awesome. I love Grand National, so I obviously love GNXs. I do not have a GNX. I got a lot of GNX memorabilia. I got the original book, a lot of that cool stuff, but do not have one. No scams. I really enjoy that you share the info to everyone in the magazines. Awesome, great. Big job. Petty's still a great patriot, only in racing, but his political views, absolutely. And one more section of the trackside 71 that we want to catch. Rocks 89, some of the best NASCAR ever. Yep, back when they were still cars. The last racing segment that we want to catch in the November 71 issue of Motor Trend, Bonneville, Sun, Salt, and Sweat. Few cool shots from Bonneville of 71. Now, yeah, I wish I had one, Rusty Nails. I really do, but I do not. I've driven one. There was a guy here in town that had one I drove years ago, but it's gone now. It's been sold off, and that's the only one I ever really knew. Bonneville 71, a Superbird out there. What was that Superbird running? B production, a 52 Hudson, a 53 Studebaker, and of course Streamliners. Bob Haveman pushes the College of the Redwoods diesel streamliner to a new class record of 190.344 miles per hour. Fastest one-way run was 209. High point of the meet was the first second-generation member of the 200-mile-per-hour club. Some cool stuff from Bonneville of 71. Jason says Max barking at the kitty. Big job. You wonder how much moonshine they drank after winning. Yeah, that's for sure. So that catches up. That does it for articles in the November 71 issue of Motor Trend. How about some advertisements? There are some great ads in here. A few of them not all car ads, but some of these things we got to check out. The first one is not even a car ad, but it was so 1971 that we got to check it out. The first ad we're going to check out, the fastest way for a guy to look great. Yep, the fastest way for a guy to look great. The Clairol Air Brush. Yep, check this out. If this isn't 1971, I don't know what it is. So we don't look at usually brush ads, but this thing was so 1971 that I had to go there. I just had to go there. And some of you guys are getting a pretty good chuckle out of that one. I'm seeing some of those smiley emojis coming up. So thought that was so great. The next one, obviously, definitely 70s, and a lot of us probably remember this. The Sears Die Hard battery from the 70s. Obviously, that name has been sold up. Alex laughing at it. I got a whole lot of laughy emojis popping up on both formats, so which is great. That's what I wanted it to do. It's exactly what I wanted it to do. The old Die Hard batteries, a lot of us remember those. And now that the delay's catching up, I'm getting more laughy emojis. So yeah. And there's one or two more funny ones in here too as well. So need a new career in 1971? Let's see. Big job. Bill Elliott still years ago frequents the bars in Dawsonville, Georgia. Scott says his brothers had one. That's hilarious. Scott on Facebook said his brothers had one of those things. Jason, fast way for a woman to look great. 7 shots of turkey. There you go. In November 1971, if you were looking for a career change, and we've got the card here in case somebody wants to send it in, let Bell and Howell Schools help you get ready for a rewarding color TV service business of your own. Yes, you can become a TV repairman from their mail order course. All you have to do, we've still got the card here. We can send it in and sign somebody up for the Bell and Howell TV repairman course. Rocks 1989. I've owned a few. The battery, not the hairdryer. Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody wants to sign up, we've still got the card here to start your new career as a TV repairman. No scam. Sad all the Sears stores are gone up here in KC. I think they're all gone now at this point, actually. On to the next one after the TV repairs. Pete, yeah. Actually, I hadn't thought of that, but I should have known it was coming. So thanks, Pete, for throwing that up there. My dad's a TV repairman. He can fix anything. Jeff Piccoli. That's right. So, and if anybody on here hasn't seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, that is such an epic shot. It's sad they wipe out that Z28, but that's so funny. He's like, dude, my dad's a TV repairman. He's got this awesome set of tools. He can fix it. Piccoli, your dad can't fix his car? Yeah, he can. Then they show the car. Yeah, he can't. Alec, not once what they once were. That is absolutely true. With Sears and Die Hard, that's absolutely true. I'm sure that's what you're talking about on that, Alec. It is really sad to see Sears on. It was such an icon, of America. And then, in their service centers, their Die Hard batteries, all that stuff was just part of Americana back in the day. Craftsman tools, Die Hard batteries. I mean, that was it. In the 70s and 80s, you got your stuff at Sears. My box out in my shop right now is a Craftsman that I got at Sears when I was about 15 years old. Dad and I went down there and picked one out that was kind of a medium-sized box that I could use, you know. So yeah, it is sad. That's right, Alec. It's definitely not what they once were for sure. That's right. Rocks 89's on there too. Same right there with this big. Got an ultimate set of tools that can fix it. Ozark Fox was 4 in 71, so you probably don't remember a lot of this. It's right, Tweedledee. Now it's cheaper to buy a new TV. That's for sure. No scams. No scams threw up something interesting. It was a TV repairman that learned to hack and rig the slots in Vegas. So maybe some of us should have taken the courses. That's right. Big Job says the same thing. Sears was American store for us as well. Absolutely. Number 1. All I need are some tasty waves and a cool buzz, and I'm fine. Jeff Spicoli. So, anyway, that's so awesome. It's hilarious. Now, obviously, where were things going in 1971? They were starting to talk about smaller cars. Tweedledee got on the internet sales too late. Yep, that's for sure. This is kind of odd. It is a car manufacturer's ad in a car magazine, and it is only like a third of a page. The Plymouth Cricket comes with rack and pinion steering standard. You get one good turn after another. But it's a small ad. It's like 1/3 of the page. Now, this Cricket was an import branded by Plymouth. Never really took off. But it's odd that a manufacturer had such a, just a third of a page in an issue of Motor Trend. John, yes, would go to Sears with my dad to get tools and tough skin jeans. Yep, that's right, Bill. Now everything comes from Wally World. That's pretty much about right. Number 1, we need to start talking seriously about the go-kart build-off challenge and the engine giveaway that's still attached to the car. Yeah. Now, this next ad, this thing, once again, 1971 at its finest, not a car ad, but this thing is so hilarious that it literally, boom, puts you right back there. Of course, I wasn't born yet, so I'm theorizing, but and I'm going to add to this ad. This is the L&M moment. L&M Filter Kings. The week was a grind, skipping lunches, phone calls, late work. Now the job's done. You can really enjoy the full-bodied flavor of an L&M. Yep, right here. Check this dude out. That tie is like 8 inches wide. Kicking back, he's like, yep. Just roll another 71 Cutlass Supreme out of here. I got him for the undercoating too. Oh, yeah. That's what this dude is saying. I just rolled another 71 Cutlass Supreme out of here, and I got him for the undercoating. So I had to throw that in there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that too. Alec, here's the Gray Kitty. I don't think Gray Kitty's in here, actually. I don't even see her. There's a couple other ones in here, so I don't think it was Gray Kitty, Alec. I think it was one of the other mongrels in here wandering around. There's the golden white kitty, one of the black kitties. So one of them was over there making a racket. Let's see. Number 1, who bought last week's magazine? I don't know who in it. Some of you guys did get some of them. That's right, cigarette in the mouth. Bill says hi to Primer, but I don't think she's in here. I think it's one of the other ones. That's right. Number 1 says, that guy drives a Chrysler, and the tie matches the Pierre Cardin interior package. That could be true, yeah. So that could also be true. He may have just rolled a Cricket out the door. I don't know. But whatever it was, he sold them the undercoating that they probably didn't need. I guarantee you this guy sold them the undercoating on whatever they just rolled out of the door in. So I thought that was so great. So, and there again, I'm getting some super cool laughy eyes, laughing, tears rolling out your eyes emojis on this one too, which is great, which is the whole purpose of it. The whole purpose of going back in time and checking this stuff out. No, actually, you can't even see his belt. I know you said it looks his belt like clear like halfway up his chest, but that's just the edge of the desk, actually, right there. There's some stuff laying on his desk, probably his ashtray and stuff. So it's actually it's just what it looks like. Scott says you're laughing a lot more tonight. Must be the AC. Well, that and these ads from 1971 are pretty hilarious. Number one says, yes, right. Number one, guarantee his belt is white to match his shoes. I bet you're right. So where's the backup girls at? Don't have any backup girls. Unfortunately, that would help. Actually, that would help the show out, I think. But it's easy to laugh when you got stuff this cheesy from 1971. So you got to roll with that. You just have to. Page 53, another battery ad. Who remembers this one? The Delco Energizer in color. They really splurged to do a color ad in 71. Frank's got to bail off. Glad you're with us for most of the night, Frank. Now, something else. Rock said, a good thing I was only 1 in 71. Yeah. David Doug, the undercoat made it rust faster. Yeah. The Motorola Changeabout, the stereo player that plays in 3 places. This was a removable 8-track player. So kind of like, the pull-out stereos we've had. Of course, they had transportable radios back in the 50s. We've talked about that. This was a removable plug-and-play 8-track player for your car, for your home, and for your boat. If you had the bracket, you could plug this thing in and use it at any of those places. That's right, number one, a color ad for a black battery. Yeah, one of the only ads in here that has colors for a battery in a black case. That's right. Bill's got to bail off. Glad you were here tonight for most of it, Bill. Big Job says he remembers them. Now we looked at the Cricket. So now let's check the Colt. And actually Dodge did splurge for not only a full page ad, a full color ad for the Dodge Colt, which was obviously the twin sister to the Plymouth Cricket. So the Dodge Compact Colt, they really stepped up their advertising compared to what Plymouth did for the Cricket. Alec, early 70s batteries with side posts. Didn't think they were around until the late 80s. Side posts came out in the late 70s for sure. So obviously I think maybe that's when they were first starting, was probably somewhere around this window. And while we're on the topic of batteries, how about one more? We talked about Sears, and we talked about, the demise of Sears and how sad that was. How about a Hudson badge? And why not throw in an Auburn badge as well? But another chain that was huge in that era that had an auto center, and auto center was a big, big part of their business. Tony, 8-tracks are cool. I still have tapes and it works. In fact, we had one here in Great Bend that I very, very vaguely remember. The JCPenney Auto Center. The JCPenney Survivor 60. Guaranteed to Survivor, we'll replace it free. No Scams likes those little Colts. So the JCPenney Auto Centers, there again, JCPenney, hopefully they stick around. Obviously you see them in some bigger areas. Our Penny's has been gone for 5 years or so. Penny's Auto Center has been gone for a long time. They did a lot of, in fact, if you guys saw the video on the 70 C10 that I picked up, it has a JCPenney aftermarket air conditioner in it. The battery prices right down here. The 60-month, the Survivor 60, $31.95. The Survivor 48, $26.95. And the Survivor 36, $17.95 for a battery. Dad says 71 was the first year for the side terminal, so that would make perfect sense. Catch up with a few comments, and we'll go back to that. Number one, Datsun 510s were being bought up for Trans Am Racing Series, so Mom Mopar decided to make a buck and win some races. Okay, I didn't realize that those Colts and Crickets were for Trans Am Racing. That's right, another great point. Pete Montgomery Ward's had auto centers as well. Big job. JCPenney was always trying to compete with Sears. Ozark Fox, Chad needs more cats. No, you guys need cats. Anybody need any cats? I got plenty of them. That's right, Tweety. Look at those prices. Rocks 89 doesn't recall a JCPenney Auto Center. Number one, is JCPenney still empty? Yes, it is empty. Jason's never heard of a Penny's Auto Center. Tony used to buy hot rod parts at Penny's. So, yeah. So if you didn't see the video on that C10, it still has a sticker under the hood that says JCPenney's air conditioning on it. So let's go back to that real quick on this Delco battery. Dad was actually on the line as a mechanic in 71 at a GM dealership. So there's the side terminals. Dad said 71 was the first year for it, so this would have been a brand new deal. This is what it says. We'll get into this a little bit more since I didn't realize the significance of this. If you've never seen a battery that looks like this one, you've never seen a Delco Energizer ST. The ST is unique. We move the terminals to the side and recess them into the casing. The cables screw right in and seal themselves. No more power robbing corrosion. No more terminal cleaning. Anyone who works on his own car, anyone who's had a session with the baking powder sputtering knows there are better ways to spend time. Did someone mention power? That's what all Energizers are known for, that instantaneous burst of power for reliable starting, even in extremes of heat or cold, and since no corrosion can get in its way, the ST's blast of power comes through sweet and strong time after time. Who's got the ST? The man at the Delco sign. There are over 100,000 outlets handling Delco batteries nationwide. The Delco man has the ST in stock now. He's also got the cable and connector kits to adapt current and older model cars to tomorrow's idea in batteries. Have him tell you all about the ST's tough design and construction. Get it. So there it is. Thanks for catching that, Alec. And then Dad was able to clarify that for us since he was actually on the line turning wrenches at a GM dealership in 71, that this was brand new technology. That explains the color ad for the black battery for the AC Delco side mount battery. And Dad also said that GM did not have the energy absorbing bumpers until 73 after all. So let's see. Number one, JCPenney sold Holly and Edelbrock carbs and intakes. And Rocks 89. Yep, you learn something new every day. So, yep, the Penny's Auto Centers were a pretty big deal back in the day. Tony says mag wheels, shifters, mufflers, tax gauges, all that stuff. So anyway, that clarifies the battery question. Thanks for catching that, Alec. Thanks for Dad for clarifying that 71 was the first year for that since he was there and he remembered working on them. So great catch. And more information for all of us. Now, speaking of performance parts, Alan Montgomery Ward was another great auto center. Remember seeing a remote flathead Ford V8 motor for sale in a store back in the 60s. That's right. Another good point, John. Knuckle busting side terminals. They were great for that. But shifting back to Sears from JCPenney goes to our next ad. 2-page, full-color Sears performance ad. Yes, Penske's Unfair. Roger Penske specializes in the unfair advantage. The unfair advantage, it comes from advanced ideas that can win a race before it even starts, like frozen gasoline or four lug wheels instead of 5. Things nobody else puts on the track before. The unfair advantage goes into everything Penske does. It's the secret behind the best prepped car at the track and 2 Trans Am championships in a row. Now, you can steal some of Roger's secrets for yourself with Penske high-performance products. Everyone designed to help you find the unfair advantage. Available only in select Sears, Roebuck & Company stores and through the 1971 Sears catalog. Send for the 1971 Sears Automotive Parts Catalog with this coupon or ask for it at the catalog desk of any Sears store or any Sears catalog unit. Literally a Penske-only performance line branded specifically for Sears. Ozark Fox Bob, another good one. Western Auto for sure. No scams. I'm out for the night. Got to make up time with the wife spent with all you guys at the store. Well, great. I'm glad you made it for most of it. No scams. Had an awesome time tonight. So there it is. The Roger Penske line of performance parts and accessories available exclusively through Sears. So All you guys talking about the performance stuff available through Sears, Pennies, Montgomery Wards, there again, that puts an exclamation point on that entire comment, or on that entire group of comments about that. Another great ad. A few more ads to catch, and then we're going to get into trivia, the raffle, and new inventory. Another 2-page color ad with great pictures in it. Jeep 72, tougher guts, brighter look. Full color 2-page ad of Jeeps in their natural environment, out doing what they do. Scott, ever see a GM A6 compressor on a Ford? I don't remember off the top of my head on that. Mid-70s. I'm sure they could have used them on stuff. I know they used that A6 compressor on a lot of stuff. John Deere used a lot of them. I mean, they were pretty common on a lot of different applications. Number one, any Penske gauges or just tuning tools? Well, you can flick back. I think most of that was tuning stuff, but it listed some parts. We'll check out the Jeep ad here for a second, then we'll flip back to that real quick. But it did say was trying to encourage you to get the catalog to get all of it. Number one, 1 year only Jeepster Commando grill and bumper, which should be this one right here, I do believe is what we're talking about on that one, number one. But this listed cams, Penske cam kits, ignition kits, gas. It does have a tack, so this was parts and testing equipment all listed in this Penske Sears ad. And we'll catch one more ad inside the back cover, and then we're going to keep moving forward a little bit. Phil, 72 and 73, 2-year only Jeep Commando. Jason, my words are starting to slur talking to the wife. Tweely D's back, had to get his daughter to bed. Perfectly understandable. We'll throw up another Hudson badge there. David thought that, or number one thought that was a 1 year only grill. I couldn't tell you for sure because I'm not that well versed in those Jeeps. Rocks 89 just reminded me of Super Shops. Yep, it kind of does. One more ad inside the back cover. You look at a little girl and wonder how little girl just Tweedly put his daughter to bed. It kind of threw me off there. You look at a little car and you wonder how long it'll last. The answer is hidden deep inside. Let's look inside a Pinto and see what makes it different where it counts. Obviously, these were the 71 Pintos. These were not the best Pintos. Big job. You're lucky Dennis Collins isn't watching. You'd want to buy the Jeep article. So you look at a little car and you wonder how long it lasts. The answer's hidden deep inside. Pinto's a small, inexpensive car, but doesn't have small, inexpensive parts. Key parts like the drivetrain, rear axle, starter motor, ball joint, shock absorbers are all strong enough for bigger, heavier cars. And we do other things differently. We cut vibrations and reduce wear with special butyl cushions between the body and suspension. Like Mercedes, we zinc plate and key underbody parts to fight rust. Like Ferrari, we take the time to match and fit transmission gears by hand. Like Cadillac, we use a special steel alloy brake tubing. Our engine, tested abroad in millions of owner-driven miles, is lightweight iron designed for long wear and the kind of performance you need on a turnpike. Our brakes are oversized and self-adjusting. Our steering is rack and pinion, a system precise enough for the world's most expensive sports cars. We didn't stint on Pinto, not where it counts. Talk to your Ford dealer about Pinto. He has plain ones, fancy ones, Pintos with options like those shown above. He's got them all for you to drive today. And then the closing words of the Pinto ad. Whoa, come back here. Better idea. Buckle up for safety. Don't forget to buckle up for safety in your new 1971 Pinto. Tweedly says it was the blow-up Pintos. Sebastian made it for a little bit tonight. Sebastian missed the last few weeks. We made it here towards the end. Glad you got on for a little bit. Pete says nothing about the motor. Said a little bit about the motor, but not a lot. Rocks 89 says it's a great ad. So, yeah, it is pretty cool. So that will do it for the November 1971 issue of Motor Trend. with the Turbine Hornet on the cover, some super cool ads and some super cool information. And as always, a lot of fun to go back with 2020 hindsight and see what did or did not happen at that time. Pete digs it. Glad you guys liked it. Number Rocks 89. I wonder how the ad written would feel about the ad today. Yeah, no kidding. The ad writer would feel about the ad today. Rusty knows when they start the Bobcat. I don't know if it was the exact same time or if it was a year or two later when they started the Bobcat. Number one, it's a front engine rear wheel drive American compact that looks unique and can hold a small block forward. If they weren't such pyrotechnic shows, we'd all have one. That's a good point. Number one, Sebastian Turbine Hornet. That's the first. So appreciate that. Lots of you guys dug the magazine tonight, and glad you did. They're a lot of fun. Sometimes they take a little bit of time, but there again, part of what we do here is learning. It's knowledge. It's, if we go to a car show or we see something, we know a little bit more about it. We're all studying. We're all learning together. Just like the side mount battery deal. I didn't know what year they started. There's one in the magazine from 71. Dad's on with us. He was on the line turning wrenches in 71. So now we all know, everybody on here knows that was when GM started the side mount battery. It was in 71 is when they first came out. I understood why it had a full color ad. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed the magazine. I'm glad you guys had fun with it. Big job. That's the exact color and Pinto my buddy used to pick up off the ground by the back bumper. My buddy would hold it to the floor and put it down so he could do a burnout. So anyway, let's get on to a little bit of trivia. And then we're going to talk about the raffle, and then we're going to talk about some new inventory and what's coming up for the week. Sebastian, what's the raffle item? We're going to get to that in a minute. It's this Auburn collection. We'll look at it here we're going to look at it right after we do trivia. Trivia tonight, we did not have a winner last week, so we now have the weight rating tag. Again, new old stock, a little bit of service rust for the 1.5 ton truck. Brand new, flat, new paint on the back, looks good, a little service on the front. So, as always, I will read the trivia question. Then I will put it on the timer for 90 seconds. The reason we do that is because when we didn't, it ended up being people spending 3, 4, 5 minutes going back through videos trying to find the answer. So we'll see if anybody gets it tonight, and then we will move on to the raffle for this month. Let's see. Anthony Unlick, great mag, awesome mag. Thanks for doing what we do. Hey, I'm doing what I do, but I do it because of you guys being here with me. You guys are the ones that make it work. 2 of the D Pintos are good for putting a 289 in. Number one, the Pinto is a new Model T for Ford, a car for every woman and family. There's a lot of truth to that as well. They had a lot of different models, a lot of different bodies. And number one, a 2.3 that you can put a turbo on later. That's true as well. So anyway, and as always, if some of you guys are still on there on Facebook, we haven't had any comments in a few minutes, so hopefully you're still working in case you caught the YouTube video, because this is based off of a YouTube video from last week. The winner is going to get the new old stock weight rating tag for the 1.5 ton truck. When we watched the can video from the other night, there was a tobacco can in there. What was the company on the tobacco can? What name was the tobacco can? We are on the timer, 90 seconds on the tobacco can from the Fresh Barn Find can video from the other night. Keep an eye on both formats just in case some of our Facebook viewers are watching. So I know some of you guys do watch over on Facebook or on YouTube as well. Got a couple. Nope, that wasn't Kodiak. That wasn't it. It wasn't Sir Albert. This is old stuff, so you got to be thinking outside the box a little bit too. Big job by next year. Yep, number one got it. It was Union Leader. Tony Kim and Phil Morris. It was Union Leader. That's who it was. So we got number one. So I will put that with number one stuff and get it stacked up for him. Phil says, remember the Pinto from Blues Brothers. I've never actually sat in and watched the entire episode of Blues Brothers, so that I don't remember. Big job. By next year, the show will be an 8-hour miniseries. Hope not. Number one thought it was going to be mud daubers. Yeah, we had a lot of mud dauber nests that we found in there. But Union Leader was the tobacco can that we found in that batch. There was obviously some super cool cans. 2 of them going out to some of you guys yet this week. out of that collection. What's great about it, that stuff has been in there for so long. The colors are awesome. Can't wait to clean up a few that Mobile, Trop Arctic, and that Sinclair Dino can. So on to the raffle. This month, like we've talked about a little bit, like we touched on earlier, since I brought out the Big Gun Auburn badge for tonight's badge out of my collection, not for the raffle. This is mine. We're going to give away an Auburn collection that I got from my good buddy Doug Prey at the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Big Job says I'm going to have to join the Actors Guild. I doubt that. All this stuff fresh from the shelves of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company in Broken Arrow. New old stock Auburn hubcap. No grease in the back of this one. Nice threads. Paint's a little faded and chipped, but I mean, this thing's what, 90 years old, 80 years old? Well, probably about mid-30s, probably 85 years old. An Auburn 12. This is off of a knockoff. It is about 3 inches in diameter. It is used. It is dinged up. This is off of an actual wheel knockoff center for a 12-cylinder Auburn. New all stock Auburn ID tag. And this looks like a normal yellow box, and it kind of is a normal yellow box. However, it is a perfect circle piston ring box. What makes this box so epic and awesome is it says Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company right on it for piston rings. Now, are you going to use these as an engine? No. When you put this on a shelf in your man cave, anybody that you hang out with is going to walk in and say, what in the heck are those? New old stock, directly from the shelf of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company. Had a few boxes of these left. I picked one up to share with you guys. And then, obviously, since I want to make sure the winner of this package understands the package of what they're getting, the book Glenn Prey, The Man Who Brought Legends to Life, the story of Doug's dad, Glenn, who bought the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company in 1960 with a borrowed $20 bill. Literally. We've got videos on all that. You'll definitely want to check those out. Go to the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company playlist on my YouTube channel. A lot of stuff on there with Doug that we've shot, a lot of cars that they've restored, some of the stuff they've done there, some awesome stuff, plus a lot of original Glenn Prey cars, a lot of cool stuff there. So I'm sending a book out to the winner of this Auburn package because I want the winner to understand the significance of it. Tweety D, how many rings in the box? I don't have any idea. It's never been opened, I don't think. Yeah, it's sealed. Still sealed. Piece of tape is still on it. Never been opened. Sebastian, I wish I could buy a car company for $20. Actually, it was a borrowed $20. He didn't even have the $20. He had to borrow the $20. So, Nick's on with us. Number one, copy that VIN tag for a template for nobody's member number tags. That might be kind of cool. I don't know. I never thought about doing that. Something like that. Yeah, we could do that. That would be kind of cool. So anyway, who's in? As we do every week, I'm going to read through the packets. I do these weekly. And if you've paid me or think you've paid me and I do not read your name, then please get with me this week. We're giving this away next week. Next Sunday night is going to be the drawing. This is the first packet. Now, a lot of you guys, if you're not familiar with this, you're probably going to hear some of these names in each packet. Reason being, a lot of these auction winners, they'll round up their purchases and just say throw the rest in the raffle. So, and if you do that, please let me know so that I know how much is going to the raffle and make sure I get everything straight and don't miss anything on an auction item or something like that. So anyway, Zach Thompson, this is from the first week, packet number one. Zach Thompson, Alec Blanchett, Kenny Peterson, Tweedly D, second packet, Tweedly D, Jeff Taylor, Charles Fitz, Zach Thompson, Kenny Peterson, and Robert McVoy. And this week, from the past week, Dennis Chapman, Brian Schultz, Kenny Peterson, Big Job, Ron Walensky, Bill Disk, and Alec Blanchett. So those names are all in here right now. All the chances of everybody that has paid me over these last couple weeks are in there right now for the drawing. And then I'll do this again next weekend. I'll do it Saturday night, and then I will double check, late afternoon on Friday for any stragglers on that. But that is who is in right now on all of those. If you think you paid me and I didn't read your name, be sure to call me, get with me, and see what we need to do to get it straightened out, because I don't want anybody to be excluded, especially if you think you're in. This stuff is thin. There is not very much of it out there. Brand new hubcaps. There's a few of these left. A few. 12-cylinder knockoff badges. There were a couple there, and I bought them. One for me, one for the raffle. There's only so much of this stuff left. That's it. So it's a pretty cool deal. Big Job says he can. I can throw his raffle win in with his auction stuff. So number one is take another peek at the F80 article. Yeah, we can do that for just a minute after we'll finish this up, and we'll take another look at that F80 article for a few seconds, and then get ready to wrap up. So next week on the 31st, Sunday, July 31st, we're giving this stuff away. 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all going to the winner. Like I said, this stuff is extremely limited as to what's on the market, and somebody's going to win this batch. So anyway, that is a super cool deal. That is awesome. Like I said, I've got a lot of the stuff. Obviously, to me, I've got this one. This kind of makes my day. In case you guys didn't figure that out, we talked about it earlier. This makes my day. That's right, Big Job. July has gone by fast. The 31st is next Sunday. So we're going to be giving that package away. You don't want to miss out on it, if you want to get in on that raffle. Anyway, like I said, that's right, Sebastian. Auburn stuff is few and far between, period. What did I pick up this week, and what's coming up on videos? Got several of them picked up. Dad helped haul a few of them too. I picked up something you may not have expected, but I think the parts are going to be pretty tough to find for. Obviously, a lot of you guys know I've got some bugs, some good bugs and some parts bugs. I've got some Gias, some Carmen Gias. But something else you may not know of is I've got some rabbits. And I picked up a couple more rabbits last week. Bugs are everywhere. Everybody saved bugs. Who saved rabbits? A lot of people never saved rabbits. You don't see them that often. So I had a chance to buy a couple of them. They're rough, but I went ahead and grabbed them anyway, just because you don't see rabbits anymore. And there's still some rabbits out there guys are going to need stuff for. Number one's got a good idea. Get an old chain from like a chain drive car and wear the Auburn 12 around my neck like a rapper. Yeah, Auburn 12. That's what I'm talking about. Tony, going to call it a night. Glad you're here for a while, Tony. Sebastian likes rabbits. Big Job. B-Dub's going to be the market down the road for a 6970 Ford pickup. Rusty, do you have Yugo? I do not have any Yugo. Don't have any Yugos. Pete, diesel or gas rabbits? These were gassers. I think all the rest of the rabbits that I've got are diesels. So these two were gassers, but I've got several diesel rabbits too. So I've got a combination of them in stock. John, how many are on the 57 cars I need picked up? With what we got this weekend, actually, I was a few more than that last week. I was at 58 or 59 last week. I've got How many did I get? Rocks 89. Who would have thought that rabbits would be in shortage? We got 5 or 6 this weekend. I think I got 5 this weekend. So I think I'm down to 53 or 54, something like that. Something like that. So I'm not under 50 yet, but I'm getting about down to the 50 mark. Oh, I know. I was at 58 last week. I bought one Monday. That put me at 59. And then I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I was at 59, and then I picked up 5. So I'm at 54 right now. Anybody need a 76 Ford parts truck? Sebastian's got a 76 Ford truck in stock for parts. The rest of the stuff I picked up this week: 1976 Ford LTD in Landau. That was a big old car. A Studebaker. I bought 3 Studebakers from a guy. I picked up one of those. They're all 47, 48 era. Another thing we just moved in that actually was at Dad's place that we just hadn't got moved yet, an old Astro van. I think like a late 80s Astro van, something else that I think is going to be kind of tough to find parts off of. So we went ahead and brought that in. And I picked up one other thing this week. Number one, is the LTD white with maroon interior and roof? Nope. Pale yellow with a gold interior. Yeah, I'll one up your white with maroon and we'll go yellow and gold. What do you think of that for 1976? Jason says drunk. Yes. Let's help that out. Double shot off from Hudson and Auburn. Yeah. John says love Studebakers. Yeah, we'll have some content coming on that. I'll probably try to get the other 2 picked up. I need to look at the videos. These things were kind of buried. They were kind of, this guy had them covered up. He had them covered with all kinds of stuff. I've got a video exactly as I found them, covered up with tin and bed liners. I don't know if I should throw that up there or wait till I get them all in. It might be kind of a long video if I wait till I get them all in. So I may throw up the video where I found them, as I found them all covered up, and then do a video after I get them all in. Number one says 64, not 54 cars, if you told the truth, last Sunday and Tuesday. I was over 60, yeah, but I was down into the 50s last week, and then I bought 5 more last week. So I picked up 4, but I bought 5. So, or no, I bought whatever. I picked up one of the ones that I bought. So I was in the upper 50s last week. Norma says, great show tonight. Appreciate you being here, Norma. I know you're a great supporter and you're always here with us. I super appreciate that. So yeah, I'm in the low 50s right now. Number one, it gets a little confusing. That's for sure. John Anderson, there was a rabbit truck. Yeah, there's a rabbit pickup out there as well. Actually, when I was a kid, we had a rabbit diesel pickup, and I found it again years ago. They were hauling it in for scrap, so I bought it too. So I've got a rabbit diesel pickup that we used to drive when I was a kid. So, let's see, trying to keep up with most of the comments here as we're rolling along, because there's one more super cool thing I want to tell you about that I picked up yesterday. There's the Hudson badge. This thing is awesome. It's a Dodge pickup. I didn't know they made these things. This is the first one I had ever seen. But I picked up and I hauled it in yesterday. I did a video on it today. I don't know when I'll get it up. A Dodge Snow Fighter. Who knows what a Dodge Snow Fighter is? I didn't, but I now own one. And it's cool. It's rough. It's been sitting a long time. Jeff says, I'd love to see the Astro van. I wrote one off. I've got a couple of Astro vans. We probably will go ahead and do some content on those when I get the other one in. But yeah, I think we do need to do some videos on the Astro vans, because I think those are another one of those deals that are going to be kind of a little niche deal that are going to be tough to find parts for. But yeah, Dodge Snow Fighter. Picked it up yesterday, hauled it in. It's unloaded. Did a video on it today. Pete, never heard of it. That makes 2 for tonight that he's never heard of. That's right. It did come with a snow blade, and that's one of the few things that is missing is the blade itself. The apparatus is there. The hydraulics are there. Somebody stole the blade off of it years ago. But it's a unique truck, and it is super cool. Number one says looking for a blade for it. So, and one thing about it is this thing is freaking solid, super solid. I can't believe how solid this truck is. I found a couple little spots of rust in the right front fender. Rockers are beautiful. Cab corners are beautiful. I stuck my head under both sides of it. This thing is awesome. Actually, John, this was a 200. This is a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive on this one. It was available on the 100 and the 200. This one is a 3/4 ton. Number one says, how are the decals? They are there, but faded. But you can still make them out absolutely. Kind of the strobe down. It's got a strobe down the side. It's a snow fighter with a snowflake in the back. Old school signing off. Rocks 1989 and Astro all drive an LS is pretty awesome. That would be pretty wild. Big job seeing them here in the day back in Wisconsin. Guy headed for snow plowing, thought he was the man. Yep. IHC had Snowway on theirs. Let's see. Hopefully some of you Facebook guys are still with us. I have nothing. And if you're commenting, I am not seeing. It's been 20-some minutes since I had a comment on Facebook, so I hope you guys are still there. And I hope I'm not missing your comments. John Anderson, cool Dodge, such a simple, clean design. Rusty Nell says he's on the way here. Snowfighter said, number one says Snowfighter couldn't have the blade on the half ton unless it was a power pack as well, or PW pack as well. So super excited about the Snowfighter. It's epic. I mean, it's just a rough old farm truck. But I was just so geeked. When I find something cool like that I didn't know about before, and actually this is the only one I've seen. I've known about this truck for several years. I just finally got it bought. So I knew it was there. Only one I've ever seen. Cannot believe how solid this thing is. Shocked at how solid this thing is. So anyway, number one said I think they had a special tire on them as well. So that's coming up also. So super cool piece there. Before we wrap up, number one wants to see the F80 article again real quick. We'll hold that up for a few more minutes as we start winding this thing down. Okay, perfect, Scott. Thanks, Dad. And Dad says you're still on here on Facebook, so we are still live on Facebook. Good. Here's the F80. And there were some comments. Yes, that F80 was based off of the F85, what they call the original Cutlass was the F85. I'm sure that's where they came out with the F80. But there it is. We'll hold it up here for a few more seconds. As we're getting ready to wind down, throw another few more Hudson badges up there for everybody. As everybody gets a little bit more of the F80, which obviously became the Omega in time. David W says that should be restored for sure. Yeah, I would think so. It's a pretty cool little pickup. So, Big Job said he's still got to go wash his Pete tonight. But anyway, there it is. Like I said, it is definitely, you can see the roof line and definitely, absolutely see the Nova in the roof line on this thing. Obviously, the nose, nothing like this came out in the nose on the Omega. Same with the tail. Tail almost looks like a 68 Chevelle almost on a Nova body. And an overextended Cutlass type split nose on the front, which never happened. So Pete's got to bail off. Yeah, I'm glad you guys hung with us tonight. Like I said, this is the last thing. Number one, wanted to see a little bit more of this F80 article. The hood and trunk treatment sort of looked like a full-size Caprice in the 70s. But there it is. What we now know became the Omega, but was originally called the Olds F80. So, with that, I'm going to start winding this thing down. As always, I super appreciate you guys being here. Mike Barger bought a new 73 Olds 2-door. Number one, the front bumper is wild. It is pretty wild. Sebastian, do you have any F80s? I don't think anybody has an F80 because I don't think none of those ever made it to production. John, as always, such a fun show. Thanks. Glad you guys made it. Like I said, you guys are what make this happen, not me. I'm the dum-dum that sits in front of a webcam. Your guys' participation, your knowledge, your enthusiasm, that's what makes this thing click. That's what makes it fun. We have badges to look at, like Hudson and Auburn badges. That's right, Jason. Dodge did have a ton of variations in trucks back in the day. They absolutely did. So anyway, I super appreciate everybody's participation in the auction tonight, the participation in the raffle. That helps support what I do financially. I do really make an effort to try to do a good job for you guys. That's why I build these my Saturday nights from, around, sometimes I'll work in the shop. I usually don't get in the office till 9:30, 10 o'clock. So usually basically from 10 o'clock till midnight every Saturday night, this is what I'm doing, building an episode, getting a cool magazine, doing research on badges to make this somewhat informational. And I'm glad you guys appreciate it. Scott says good show on Facebook. Like I said, it's awesome that you guys join in, you participate. Like I said, tell your friends, numbers typically summertime, I know our numbers are a little bit weaker than what we are in the wintertime, because I know people are busy. So the fact that you guys basically spent your whole Sunday evening hanging out here with me is amazing. Yeah, it's a great bunch of nobodies, and it's an amazing group to hang out with. The sportsmanship, the support that everybody provides, not only me, but all the rest of our viewers, is what makes this such a special thing. Bud says the show makes Sundays fun. Okay. That I didn't expect, Big Job. Big Job, I think this is a pretty good compliment. Big Job just put Johnny Carson of the Car Talk Show. Wow. I got to screenshot that, Big Job. That is pretty amazing. I'm a little bit flattered with that comment. The Johnny Carson of the Car Talk Show. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Number one, the truck replaced muscle cars because the big locks weren't insurance nightmares. So Mom Mopar went full custom. I can see that. Trucks replaced muscle cars because, I can see that in the 70s for sure. Jeff, could you show a promo every week? That's a great idea, Jeff. We should start working more promos in. Absolutely. We should start working more promos in. And I should see if I got some duplicates to sell. Alex says, good one, Big Job. That actually kind of caught me off guard. It really did. That really kind of caught me off guard. I got to get worked back in here. Jason says, Jen is taking a shot of turkey for her birthday. Well, Jason, I'm glad that your daughter's hanging out with you tonight. I'm glad that she hung out with us through the show, and I'm glad you guys had fun with us. I hope she had a great birthday, and appreciate you, exposing her to what we're doing here. And I hope she likes the car world and becomes more and more interested in it through what we're doing here. Our younger viewers are the future of this hobby. We have a very strong and a very bright future. They like different stuff than we do, but we need to encourage that. And this next generation with Sebastian and with Jenna being involved with us here is what's going to carry this hobby into the future. No problem. Number one for the mag replay on the F80. Rocks 1989. We appreciate it. Remember, take some time for yourself. I squeeze some time in every now and again. I only work, 12 to 15 hours a day. I do read from about 10:45 to 11:15 at night. Reading an awesome book right now on, believe it or not, oil production in the Sherwood Forest in England during World War II. We'll talk about that after I get done with the book. But, yeah, super cool there, too. Sebastian seconds that comment. Big Job. Awesome. Yeah. We're still going. We're about ready to wrap this thing up. But the promo should be of what you missed last week. Catch us next week kind of promo. Anyway, looks like we're about done with comments. We're going to wrap this thing up. As always, I super appreciate you being here. Shayla went out and helped me shoot a ton of video this weekend or today. So I've got a lot of stuff coming up. We shot the Snow Fighter. We shot the Rabbits. Shot the 62 Tempest wagon. Shot 60 C10, 64 Buick Wildcat. Oh, I know some of you guys have been waiting on this. Finally got the video done on the 1990 Caprice 9C1 cop car. Did a video on a 91 F-150 Lariat. So lots of cool stuff coming up on videos that will be coming out this week. Got the LTD Brome and the 74 Galaxy shot. Those videos are coming. So, Jason, I'm intoxicated, but I really do love all you nobodies. Great, Jason. That's awesome. Glad you're here. Glad you're having fun. We'll try to help you out a little bit with that. So anyway, lots of videos. I don't know how we'll get them. Oh, first off, tomorrow night we will post. I've got one more video from Auburn Court Duesenberg. The parts department video. We did one last year. I did an update on that this year on the parts department at the Auburn Court Duesenberg Company. That will be tomorrow night. Toy Tuesday. I've got a box of Ohio. We did a viewer box last week. Oh, I almost forgot during the raffle. The viewer box last week. Real quick, I'm going to slide this in. The viewer box last week, we had all those Canadian license plates. When I read the letter, remember there's a letter in there for me. I read the letter. The viewer told me, go through the license plates, pick out what I want, and then give the rest away. So, in the raffle, somebody's going to get a Canadian plate this time as well. The second name or the third name or something out of the can. We're going to give away a couple of those Canadian plates. Huge shout out to our viewer for not only sending me the viewer box, but sending me a viewer box with stuff to share with you guys. So that will be part of the raffle next week. There'll be a Canadian plate in there for the winner. So anyway, almost forgot that. So those videos will be coming up. We'll do this Ohio box of memorabilia this Tuesday night. We'll do that live at 7:00 and see what else we got coming. I know some of you guys have said there are a few more viewer boxes coming. As always, I can't believe that you guys do that for me as well. I super appreciate that. That also helps make Toy Tuesdays, and everybody appreciates it. And it's so great that he specifically said use some of the extra license plates for the raffle and share them around. That's awesome. There again, that's the brotherhood. That's the camaraderie. That's what we have here. And that's not me. That's you guys. So anyway, that being said, let's wind this thing down. We've got a long time tonight, but that's awesome. It happens because of your guys' support and participation to make this thing what it is. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to sign off. We will see you all live 7:00 Tuesday evening on YouTube for Toy Tuesday. We'll do some cool memorabilia there. We'll get the other videos up. Auburn Court Duesenberg Parts Department. And then, like I said, I got so much stuff shot. Who knows what I'll have ready for later this week. We may do that batch of Studebakers in the as-found condition so that you're waiting to see them after I get them all drug in. Sebastian, we build these others collections. That's right. Absolutely. And then next Sunday night live chat. Number one, you can't really call a plate from Quebec Canadian. It's the whole thing about distinct society within Canada. So you need to call it Canadian plate with a French accent. Okay. Well, number one, got to set it straight on the plate. So regardless, we're going to give one to somebody. We're going to do that. Alex says good night. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody being here. Holy cow, we went forever tonight, and you guys are still here. That one took me a second. Big job. We need to get a golf club for Chad. He said, we need to get you a golf club, Chad. Because Johnny Carson, I think, did that. Isn't that right? Is that what? Because I'm not a golfer. But there again, I remember Johnny Carson from when I was a kid. Because I know Dad always watched it. I got a 39 Chrysler out at the yard, too. I do got a 39 Chrysler. Jason just says, holy crap, I'm drunk. Well, I guess that clarifies Jason's current situation. Another good idea, big job, maybe just a tailpipe. I assume that's what you mean, where Johnny Carson used to kind of do that thing with the golf. I could be the great Karnak, too. The great Karnak. Carnacular knowledge. That's good it could be. Because I think, didn't that with Johnny Carson, the great Karnak? I could be the great Carnacular of knowledge, so. For whatever that's worth. But anyway, that's right, Jason. Love you all. That's the best way to put it, Jason. Love you all. It's a great time. Bryce Dale said just get a tire iron. Yeah. But anyway, I guess that'll do it. Big Job says that would be awesome. And with that, get ready. Next week, not only we're going to have more auction items to sell and ship out, I will be packaging this stuff up a week from tomorrow. All of this super hard to find, original, straight off the shelves of the Auburn Court Duesenberg Company Auburn pack. Number one, Johnny had white Corvettes, didn't he? A C3 and a C5. That I'm not sure. I just know he had that 39 Chrysler that was, I think, his dad's car. It was a family car that that Johnny Carson had. And I think Jay Leno has that car now, if I remember correctly. But like I said, next Monday morning, this stuff's getting boxed up. We're going to have a new raffle. You guys don't want to miss out. Get in for the raffle this month. So that's right, Sebastian. Never to be replicated package. That's for sure. It's cool stuff. We'll throw one more Hudson badge out there. That's right. Jason says, have a great and safe week. Nobody's. That's the best way to put it. I'm going to bail off here. Thanks for being here tonight. See you Tuesday night, and definitely hope to see you all back here. Same bat time, same bat station, 7 o'clock Central Time, Sunday night live chat. Thanks for being here tonight. We will see you next week.